February 22nd, 2010,
Okay.
back with Len Erickson and Bill Deragon at their home here. What's the address here, you guys?
121 North First.
Okay, 121 North 1st Street in Bayfield, Wisconsin, USA.
That's it.
Bobby Nelson reporting in.
Yeah.
Say, Bill, we know that the Native American component to yourself goes back many, many years, probably into the 1300s actually, and 1400s and 1500s and 1600s.
During the fur trading.
Yeah,
That's when the Cadet side of the family came around.
yeah.
Michael Cadet married one of my ancestors on the island, Madeline,
Natalie.
and she was a princess of the tribe, and that's where my lineage starts.
I think I know
What
her
I
name.
can remember. Of
I
my
think her
lineage.
name in Indian is Isekwese.
I never did know it.
Yeah, that's her
See,
her,
when
her native name.
When I was growing up, my grandmother said they wouldn't speak the language around us, but when we weren't around, all the women spoke it.
Bill, who was your grandmother?
My grandmother was Lizzie Cadet, and then she married J.M. Gordon, James McCoonts Gordon,
Okay.
and he's the one that went down to Mississippi in a canoe during a Legion convention.
Who were Lizzie's brothers and sisters?
Oh, there was Bobby, Jimmy, Lawrence, and Leanne, Betty. Betty married, and she lives in Michigan. Her, Barbara, and Lawrence are the only three left in my mother's family.
Did Lizzie Cadet live across the Iron Bridge up there?
On our side, yes.
Yeah.
On the Catholic, right up the hill from here. I was born in the house up there, right about 3 blocks away from this house.
On 2nd Street, or on this street?
The next block over.
2nd Street, okay.
And then we're right across kitty corner from where the Myers house was on that corner.
Okay.
Right up here on the corner.
Kenny Myers,
Right
kitty corner from there.
right there.
Is that what I would call the old Veering building, the Elmer Veering building, or the one next to it?
The one higher was
Okay.
my grandmother's house. The one on the corner was of course I can't think of her name. It'll come, but it'll come later. But anyway, we'll talk about my great grandmother. She was a Cadet too, and she was born on the island.
What was her name?
Margaret,
Margaret Cadet, okay.
great grandmother Cadet. That's
Oh.
all I knew her.
Oh, okay,
Great grandmother.
gotcha.
And we worked in the strawberry fields. And Grandma, I think great grandma Cadet was maybe 70 or 80, and they would come around with the pickup trucks and pick us up. The Erickson family, we always worked for the Erickson family.
In here.
Honestly, that's true. Grandma and Grandpa Erickson.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew his grandmother's name. We all called her Grandma.
Grandma Erickson, yeah.
Grandma Erickson. And then, and my grandmother, we worked in the fields. I think when we first started, we got big bucks, $1.50 a quart for strawberries. Got 2 cents a pound for beans. But we worked there all summer. And when we got hungry, we always had to go to Grandma, great grandma, and say we're hungry. And she said, no, not time to eat yet.
Really?
And nobody ate until great grandma ate.
That was the rule.
Yeah. And we said, oh, it's too hot to work in here on these fields. We didn't leave those fields until great grandma left the fields.
Yeah, no choice.
Sometime 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Then,
So
then after
what
that,
kind of work were you doing out there?
strawberries, picking strawberries. Then after we finished strawberries, we'd go down to Keens, Otto Keens, and we'd stem them. And they froze them and they shipped them out. That's when the fields were really big. And the bean fields were really big.
Bill, I'd like to get a little location as to where that field would be. Now, in my mind, there's the old Martin Erickson farm. Originally, that I know of, where Jimmy's Orchard is now, it's up near the ravine. Was that where you picked, or?
There was one field there,
Okay.
where Randy is.
okay.
Randy's son. There was a big field there. Across where Perry Shuga is, down below where Perry Shuga is, there was another field. And where Jimmy's apple orchard is, down below where the apple orchard is,
In back of
there
the-
was another field. And the old house, I think Martin Peterson bought it, there were fields in there.
How many acres do you think there were under? 10 acres maybe?
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many. When you start picking, there were way too many.
Bill, how many kids and mothers and people did you remember working alongside you in
Well,
those days?
I think they went by family myself. I said there were my family were Deragons, but we picked up Cadats and Shelleys and Hugos and everybody on our hill. We used Catholic Hill. We all worked for Grandma Erickson.
Then
And at the other hill, they would work for the other farms. But we all had our own farms that we worked with.
year to year to year.
Right, for years and years, we've all worked for the same farms.
Loyalty.
And then after Grandma Erickson sold the farms, then I worked for Donna and Jackie, picking strawberries, raspberries. So,
Donna and Jackie Erickson.
right,
Yeah.
Donna and Jackie Erickson.
Now, how old were you when you started this whole picking and stuff?
I think we went in the field when we could walk.
It was, we were 5. I worked for Tina
Well,
too.
not that young.
Well, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like I've been working all my life.
Yeah.
With berries. One.
Berries, strawberries, raspberries. Then this is before that we didn't have blueberries at that time. When we picked blueberries, we went out to Bering and got the little bitty ones and sold those to the stores. Now they have the big tame blueberries. Blackberries, I hated to pick those. I hated picking raspberries.
Why?
They're too small.
Take forever to fill a pint.
Especially if they were old, a day or two old, and they'd pack down and never fill up.
So what would you get paid for a container of,
Set and a half.
that's all?
I think closer to $5 a ticket. And that was big bucks back in those days.
Very fair.
So $5, would that be what you could make in a day,
Well,
or what?
on a back then, I think you could make about $20 or $30 a day, but it took you all day to make it. And
You picked 4 or 5
and
tickets.
yeah, tickets,
So what was a ticket? What do you mean by a ticket?
100 quarts or 100 pints,
Oh,
And you have them punched out.
Gee.
and they punched them. Yeah.
Did you have to carry your own crates in, or do they have people come?
No, Grandma Erickson had Helena and
Jesse.
the whole
Jessie.
crew, Jesse, and all you did was tell her, carry your Claris,
Yeah.
and they'd come bring you a new carrier and
Punch your ticket.
punch your ticket and take the old one out.
I think some of those old ticket punchers are still up at Jim's.
I think Donna, Jackie's house would have a lot of them, and maybe the old farm would have some, but there ain't too many left. I mean, the strawberries are still here, and the raspberries are still here, but it's nothing like it was. Honestly, there was nothing.
Yeah, there's not nobody going anymore.
Linehammers had big fields of strawberries. and apple orchards and raspberries and they did eggs and in
Yeah.
in middle of winter when everybody was hungry for fresh fruit, go out Rudy root cellar and you could get a lot of stuff.
I think for many, many years, if it weren't for the Native American population of people here in this community, the many berries would have just been left to rot on the vine there. They were really instrumental in that business.
Well, we enjoyed it, and Len always says that Grandma Erickson always gave us rotten fish, but she always she always had a fish boil in the middle of summer for us, and it was fantastic because it was. Well,
Lemonade.
Bob been to an old-fashioned fish boil, and it was really something. She'd come in with the big kettles with potatoes and the onions and fish. But then Grandpa Erickson fished.
With Mel.
Yep.
It's
Nice-
an
nice to go to him.
interesting side note to your comments there is that Grandma and Grandpa Erickson, which would be Martin and Christine, bought the Fred Church property where Randy's son is now in that corner in 1917, and that's when they went into the fruit and berry business in 1917.
Well, you got to remember Hauser's orchard was really big at that time too. It's still big, but back then it was bigger because where all their flower fields are now was all produce.
Bill's absolutely right about the berry production here. It started, berries came to Bayfield about 1884 at the old Holstein crossings south of Bayfield there. He had the first batch of berries that were sold to the Duluth hotels up there. Then it started to go big, and by 1909, according to Harvey Nurse, they had 80 carloads of strawberries went out here that year. And nowadays, it's just nothing compared
No,
to that.
it wasn't. I mean, the fields would bring in strawberries you wouldn't believe. I mean, we'd take a look at them at Keen's when we're cleaning them and say, oh, we're never going to get done.
Never did that.
And that every day for about 2 weeks straight. Every day the strawberries would come in.
Is that when they put them in those kind of like copper colored
Tins.
tins?
Yeah, they come in tins and they would freeze them.
Yep.
And then they'd ship them out.
Would they go on the train then, out of here?
Oh yes, we had trains at that time.
Yeah.
I remember the turnaround down there. We'd go down to the cannery after they canned the fresh beans. Then we always said we stole them, but they knew we were taking them, and then we'd go under the turntable and sit there and open them up and eat them by the handful.
How are the beans? Pretty good.
Oh, they were excellent beans. I think Bayfield had the best. They say because of the volcano rock in this area, that's why the produce is so good. You can't get a strawberry to taste like a Bayfield strawberry around different areas. Even Corny in Washburn, Bayfield strawberries are the best. Prejudice.
Yeah, well, they are. They're wonderful.
These were green beans, right?
Oh, they were
Yeah.
green beans and wax beans. They
wax
did them both,
Uh-huh.
and they'd ship them out. We had our own label, but they did a lot for Stokies and
Green
Green
Giant.
Giant, but they came from Bayfield.
Yeah.
Did you ever work inside the cannery?
One summer.
Tell us a little bit about what you did there.
Well, I worked in the warehouse, and after the green beans were all packed, and then I'd get them. After they cooked them, then we'd get them and we'd put them in the warehouse. Then they would come with the trains and pack them up, and they'd be shipped out. The cans, when they came in by the box car, and they were stacked open, no labels on them, and there was something like a comb, I always said, and they'd take that comb, put those cans on there, and lift them up, and they had that they'd go down. Well, everybody seen what they'd go down and around
Conveyor, yeah.
and into where the packers were. Now the packers were mostly all women.
What would they do then?
They would pack them.
The processed cans and the.
Right. It was rotating like this. Then they'd pack the green beans in there. But before that, they were the stimmers and the sorters, because some beans you'd cut, and some of them were number ones, about that big, and they were the best. They weren't cut like they are today.
Oh, I see. They were stringed.
They were little bitty ones, and awesome.
To kill
They
for.
were awesome.
And who ran this cannery?
Len would know more about that than I would. When I was there, Doug Knight, Steve Valentine's dad,
Russell?
Russ. That's when I worked there, because I was about, what, 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that.
Lenny, do you have any recollections of the cannery?
Len does.
Maybe you'll just give us a little insight as to what your thoughts are about
Do you
that
remember
place.
the snipping part of the cannery?
That was just a little bit before my
It
time.
was right inside the doors. And there was like Bill said, 10, 12 women snipping. And it
They
was
have scissors or?
no, they were by their fingers.
Their hand.
And
hand snipping.
it was amazing, how many thousands of beans that they must have snipped in a short time.
They would take those snips to the cattle.
Yeah. They just
And-
dropped through.
Right.
They dropped right under
They
the-
dropped through it, and it
Right under the
out back,
turntable,
They
yeah.
placed for a bin that they had. People would come and take them, and I don't know if they used it for fertilizer or for cattle feed or mink feed or
I don't know.
Farm
something.
feed maybe.
Well, back in those days, Bob, I can't believe that they wasted anything.
No.
They used, like in the fishing and the herring, that all went to the mink farms.
So anyway,
They
you opened
were-
up the door and you got 10 or 12 women snipping.
Yeah,
Who were the farmers that, and I want to go beyond the snipping phase here, but I'm thinking of some farmer, some poor kid up there must have been picking them for 2 cents a pound or something.
Oh, we got
And
as high as
Did you
3.
put them in baskets or did you put them?
Yeah, they were baskets.
that was after we put the little rocks in the bottom of the basket.
That's how you got your weight. Did you
Yeah.
pick two, Len?
Yes,
Pick beans?
yes.
Where'd
Snakes,
you pick beans
they were.
for? Grandma or-
Grandma.
We would use snakes to.
I have articles here now that are all packed away. Not packed away, we've gone through them. That was done on Grandma Erickson.
She was the bean queen.
She
woman.
was the bean queen.
Yeah, I've seen that article.
You've seen that article? I
Ellen
have.
Knight.
Alan Knight did that. Yeah.
So Lenny, you're up in the bean fields
Mm-hmm.
as a kid. Tell us a little bit about what it was like picking beans, and who were some of the kids that you picked beans with?
Well, everybody that was around our age, wherever, like Steve, Bobby Durham, John Durham, pretty much of our classmates, went and had to pick strawberries.
We all had.
The only
we all
thing,
had to work.
the only thing I never picked was apples,
Really?
and I don't know why. I just didn't.
I picked for Kruger.
I didn't pick
And
apples.
Kruger?
Yep, that's what I picked for.
But we picked strawberries, stayed as far away from the raspberries as we could, picked the beans, worked in the fishing, with
Yep,
the herring.
herring.
Well, Bayfield was a seasonal deal. That was the things that kept the town going.
Lenny, who were some of the other bean farmers that you can recall in the area besides Grandma?
Line hammers.
Yeah,
Rudy?
Yep.
Rudy Langhammer.
They were on the.
God,
I don't remember
there a
who had the
Benton?
fields out in Redcliffe, but there were two, three fields.
Was there a Benton that had a farm? Krugers?
Hank
Did they?
Kruger,
Krugers?
Yeah, he had bean fields.
Yeah. So they were
Sulfur.
Olaf
Sulfurs.
Sulfurs.
Olaf.
Up on Jim's property
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Beans there. I know across from, where the Barninghams live up there now, that used to be Tony Larson's bean fields.
Okay.
Remember Gil Larson's dad was Tony? and they had
Wasn't
beans
wasn't
there.
wasn't Gil
Whitingers.
Larson a photographer?
Right,
The
but
white-
his dad Tony had,
Okay.
they raised beans there before it was that large pine plantation.
Okay.
The Whitingers too had
Whitingers
farms.
had, see, the names are starting to come back now.
And across from the Apple, where Einer is now, there used to be.
You know, I think I'm just gonna jump ahead here a little bit, like to the hearing. I don't think any other school district allowed junior and senior kids to leave school at 1:30, 2 o'clock to pick fish.
Big fish. We did.
We did.
Well, we had to get the fish off the
They-
boat
yeah,
because
like
they
I
had
said,
to
they-
go out the next morning.
I think there had been a rebellion by the taxpayers in Bayfield if they wouldn't have allowed just kids to.
You know,
The fish
that-
that never got picked.
No, they had to be that way. But I mean, it's kind of funny that, it isn't funny, but I mean, you're right, Bob. I think the parents would have said, oh no,
This is our Christmas money.
this is where the people make their money to get them through the
Well,
Yeah,
winter.
if you want our kids to go to your school
Yeah,
and pay
yeah.
for your lunch tickets,
Yeah,
we need to work.
we need the workers, and there was the workforce right there.
Yeah, a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
Kept a lot of people
Keep-
eating those berries. There were a lot of stores back there.
Do you remember what they
There was
paid the
Starks
dressers
and-
with?
Chips.
I have some of those. I found them in the attic when we bought the tavern. They were from Booth Fishery.
John, you had a question or?
Yeah, what
You
was
said
it?
that
It was-
last time.
Oh, the green beans. Now, describe how to pick the green beans. I mean, this was all handwork.
Oh yes.
On your
Oh
knees.
yes.
Huh?
On your hands and
On
knees.
your hands and knees, or unless you had a big, good
You
back
pick-
on you.
You get two rows. There'd be-
Yeah.
You were in the center. Of
You
this
could
one.
only pick
You
a half of
you
each one
picked
of them.
half of this
Only half of
row and
one.
half of this row.
You didn't dare
Then
touch the other
other
half.
guy would
You
pick.
get your knuckles.
Yeah.
Right.
Same way with the strawberries. You were
Yeah,
allowed
but
to
you
pick
wanted
half.
to get ahead on the strawberries so
Yeah.
you get the big ones.
Yeah, I know
What's
that.
the most poundage you ever caught that you ever picked in a day, Bill? Did
I-
you ever pick
I-
200 pounds
Oh,
or
easy.
Easy.
easy?
Easy.
So
Easy.
how many pounds were in a bushel basket?
About 25,
Right.
30. If you pack good,
You
you
pack
might
good,
get
yeah.
50.
Really?
But a lot of us like the half ones.
With
because
that
they
counting
fill
the
up
rocks in the
faster.
bottom.
They filled up faster.
So you were paid by weight then.
You're right, we are paid by poundage.
How much a
Then-
pound? Do you remember?
3 cents.
3 cents a pound.
Started at cent and a half. Everything was cent and a half back in those days.
Then up to 3.
Went up to 3.
You
3
paid
cents.
more for the guy to run around the woods or around the field picking rock for you to put in the bottom of those bean things than you basically made yourself.
And I guess there wasn't a union in those days.
There was
You were waiting for cheap labor to arrive.
That's
we were
it.
we were very cheap labor.
Yeah.
No, I can't say that neither because a can of beans back then I think was only a nickel or
Well,
yeah.
that's
back-
when a dollar
yeah,
meant
that's
something.
when a dollar was a dollar.
A
Yeah,
real dollar.
meant
Yeah.
something.
So you pick over 200 pounds of beans a day,
Sure.
and then you were done, and you go home, or then did you go down and work out the cannery a little bit? Then, or-
No. I didn't know. After that was our swim time.
Yeah.
Noontime, 1 o'clock, whenever we got the fields picked. And you didn't mess with the blossom because you had to pick those for, I think bean season would be about 2 weeks. Everything was about 2 weeks.
You know, I don't think either with that bean thing and down in the
And you only
cannery.
picked you got more for the smaller one, but nobody wanted the smaller one because,
Did you have to sort them?
no.
They sorted
That
them
was
at the
done at the
cannery.
cannery.
And I think one of the biggest reasons kids didn't work in that cannery, when you think about it now, the conveyor belts were pretty fast. And I think it took an adult there, and anything up and beyond that, like those boiling vats of hot water, I think it took adults to run that part of that
My dad worked there
operation.
too.
Not
besides
kids.
all woods.
Yeah, but
Oh,
not
he did?
kids so much in there. You know.
Well, in those days they didn't have the guards over the chains. And
Yeah.
It was pretty dangerous,
Yeah.
actually.
Well,
I'm
everything was
surprised they didn't
dangerous back in
lose
there.
their fingers.
Who was
that, yeah.
the boss down there in those days in the bean factory? Was that Doug Knight or
Night and day.
Yeah,
Irvy Day?
yeah.
Night and day.
Night and day.
Night
yeah,
and day.
night and day.
That was their baseball name too.
Yeah,
night and day.
They were quite bad.
Doug Knight pitched.
Elner was the secretary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Knight own the place?
You know, I don't know.
I don't know if he owned it or if he
think it
just
was
managed.
cooperative.
We really
Or
don't.
managed, he was the
Maybe it was a
manager.
co-op, because I remember the co-op.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
He was
remember the
co-op.
co-op.
I think he was just a manager.
And the owner worked there, and I'm pretty sure old William Knight's money was involved in it
I'm
somewhere.
sure.
I don't remember who ran the co-op, but that is where the condominiums are now.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Doug Knight was.
Which condominiums?
Pardon?
Which condominiums?
Trudeau's.
Come on, right across from the tavern.
Oh, Bayfield on the lake.
Oh, okay. So that's where the cannery was?
No,
No.
cannery was down below. That was the old co-op building.
The old
that was the co-op building.
Co-op
Okay.
building. And then the cannery, the co-op building, after a fashion, all became part of Allwood
Allwoods, yeah.
Incorporated. They took on all the pieces.
And we all worked there.
Well, tell me a little bit more. Let's go back. You're inside the door now, Lenny, and you see all these women snipping. And they're going down, probably they're snipping, they throw it on a conveyor belt. Where did it go next?
It went, the conveyor belt took it around to the sorters. The next thing was the sorting.
Then
And
they go through the bath.
Yeah, but that table shook. The small
Yeah.
one that graded them,
The
the
small one
table
would
shook
go
and,
through.
and then would fall down and
Oh, those little ones
go
go
on.
down through.
Yeah,
Similar to the Apple thing.
yeah.
But bigger
And then
up there.
it ended up with the canners, or no, the washers
The
were in there.
packers.
Washers, packers, then the canners.
Right.
Do they have to individually pack those beans in each can, or
Well,
do they have a machine where they
They
all went
came
to a
down
the
hopper?
machine,
They
the
came down in
cans
a
would
funnel.
come down. They'd
came
go
down
in
in a
this
funnel.
round thing.
And the beans kind of came in a
Yes.
funnel.
There were 4 or 5 women sitting around there. I mean, it was a big one. And the cans would fit underneath it. Here's the top. The cans are here. And there's an opening here. Then they'd pack the
They
beans.
packed through, see, they were coming like in a funnel.
How many?
So
how long-
basically, it was all hand done work.
Yes. They'd go to the hopper, into the bean can, so they'd spin them out of there,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'd go someplace. Were they boiled by that time, or?
Then they had these great big,
The vats.
I mean, they were great big steel things, and they're big.
They
and
pack 'em.
Packed that full of
They were lifted and
cans.
put, yeah,
Then they have pressure cookers.
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Then they put that in the pressure cooker, and I don't know how long but they sure were good when they come out of
They were
there.
This might
Excellent.
sound like a real stupid question, and probably is. But when they were in the pressure cooker, did they already have the lids on top of
Oh,
them?
yes.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
closed,
yes.
they were closed
So,
tight.
so prior to them getting to the
Yeah.
cooker, they had a thing that put
Yeah,
the
were
lids
sealed.
on,
the lids on, they were
stamped
sealed.
on them.
But when you think about running all of those steps to get those to the cooker, the human hand
Yeah.
had a lot to do with it getting there.
How many people worked there, do you think?
Oh, there were
There
many
was
in
a
the
lot of
summer.
people.
50 or?
Maybe even more.
When they tore down the cannery, they had stacks of old records. Why we didn't keep them, I don't know. But there were boxes and boxes and boxes they threw away. And they had the old stubs, pay stubs.
There must have been,
It worked for a whole week at $15. Big bucks back
I
then.
think
It was big bucks in those days.
his question
But they
was,
ran
though,
3
Bill,
shifts.
yeah, but his question was, how many people do you think work there?
About 100.
I would
would say
say
at
at,
That would be part of the 3
at,
shifts?
at peak time,
I
there was
remember,
a
Bob,
lot of
when
people.
we were growing up here, our town, what, 700 now?
Mm-hmm.
Back
600.
then, we had 2,000, 3,000 people.
It was a real city then.
Yeah, we were.
And there's a lot of people living in hillsides too.
They-
A lot more up there.
And that didn't count the res.
Yeah,
That was just town.
yeah, yeah. So they had a nice product and they shipped for Del Monte? Or?
Del Monte, Green
had-
Giant,
We had 2.
Stokely's,
We had
they had their own Bayfield label.
Yes,
They had a Bayfield bean?
Oh, yeah.
they had a Bayfield label.
too.
Have you guys been to Bayfield Heritage down there? I think, you know that thing that you're calling that packer
With
there?
all the holes in it?
Yeah, Have you recognized that down there?
No, I haven't.
It's up on one of them racks there.
Really?
Upstairs. Probably bring back bad memories maybe.
Probably.
What?
Don't wanna see that again, but
But 80% of your beans were shipped out with just a can, not
With no
labels.
No labels. No,
whatsoever on
that's-
them.
so they were allowed to, they get cooked. How long would they be in the pressure cooker?
That I couldn't tell you.
Well,
That were, we
for
weren't
anything
allowed
that-
around that.
For
area.
anything that's pressure cooked, no less than an hour.
Well, I don't remember, but
No, that's an
I
hour.
remember that they had 3 or 4 of them going at a time.
Of those hot,
Right, and they come
Yeah.
up.
how many cans do you think would be in there? Like 5,000 or?
I don't think quite that many, Bob, but I would say, I bet you at least a couple of thousand cans, because it was in layers.
Then it, yeah.
And those
we had
things
3
were
or 3
about that
cans.
high.
You figure out it didn't
And they
take
were
long to get
big.
1,000 in one of them.
And they were big, they were pretty big in diameter, so, yeah, I would.
They
couple of thousand.
rotated, and this one would be done.
Couple of thousand.
Then then they were filling one. Then this one would be done.
The other one would be half done.
Then
Do you, by
somebody would
chance,
pack
do-
them into the when they cooled off enough. Somebody would pack them into
Do you remember how much a can of beans was downtown?
5 cents.
Yeah. In the stores.
And then they would go to like a little spot where they cool off.
And then they'd go up to the warehouse.
In the warehouse, where was the warehouse at?
It was in
Well,
the,
they were at four doors on
on the cannery.
One would bring the cans in, and then there were 3 other doors that would be.
The end
they
of,
would-
I think the last one was the,
Then they.
Where the distribution line there?
yeah, I think so.
I suppose everything
That was the
rotated
closest
back
one to
there.
the train tracks.
I remember they were all stamped with a code on them.
Yeah.
And you could tell a Bayfield bean because it had a B something on it.
So those unloading docks then were up near the railroad yard.
Next to the, yeah, pretty close to the
Where
railroad.
did they bring the beans to? I remember that
Green
big
Bay.
orange building as a kid, you know.
Oh,
Did they load them
We
on the
have-
south side or?
no, okay. The building, where City Hall is right now.
Mhm.
Okay. There used to be right here where they brought the beans, bushels at a time.
So they back up to that.
They
loading-
back up there, they bring it down this alley. There used to be an alley this way and this way.
Yeah.
And here, they come in here, they come around, they bring their beans, unload them, and if you were taking the snips, they just back up their truck and get the snips and take those out while they're same thing. And I mean, they had stacks of beans.
So the busiest part of the day, I would guess, would be once all the kids are done picking them.
Yeah,
The farmers would haul them down the hill 1 o'clock, and that's when the real processing started. Was
started.
And whatever they had from the day before too, I suppose.
Well, like Bill just said a little bit back, just like at
They had 3 shifts.
at
Big
Ottawa
ones.
Keene, you pick the berries, and then if you want to, you could go snip. I mean, the berries at Keene's. Same way with the beans. A lot of people that worked in the fields picking went to the cannery and worked in the afternoon.
Later.
Pick
Later.
up a few extra bucks.
Yeah, they just kept, that's how they got the job done.
So I'm saying that you guys absolutely guarantee that they were some of the best beans. In
Oh,
the
they were.
Oh, unbelievable.
They were. They were the best.
But this all happened just over a course of a couple weeks then, huh?
Well, whatever
Or to go
bean
longer
season
than
was.
that.
Strawberry season would start 4th July. Well, do you remember the 4th July
I think
downtown Bayfield?
beans ran a little longer than 2
Oh, yeah,
weeks.
well, that's right.
Yeah, a little
But
longer than
we,
2
They
we
weeks.
staggered
start
the
with,
plant, too.
Yeah,
they used to have a strawberry festival here when I was a kid,
yeah.
and it was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
They should bring that back, Bob.
I remember one of them when Carly Smith and that Wallen kid were wrestling.
And the
Right
strawberries,
down there,
yeah,
in the berries. Then they
Yeah,
had
they
that
had
big
that-
pool off of the
Down
city
at-
dock.
Yeah.
they used to have a carnival right on the main street,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally the state put a stop to that, and we had to go down to East Dock.
The mayor would be in prison if they did that.
Yeah.
The last one I attended was at the East Dock.
Yeah.
What year would that have been, Bill?
I was young, maybe 45, 46.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the good days.
There's another fun thing that happened that period of time. Do you guys remember the Bayfield regattas?
Yes, I do.
Sure. The
Yes.
the
They were big.
Power Squadron out of Duluth.
Coming from Duluth, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had a lot of good, fun summer projects in the old days.
Stuff they didn't
Let's
call.
back up a minute though, because you were starting to say, okay, strawberry was the first crop, right? Started July 4th.
Yeah, that was,
Usually.
that's when everything happened around here on July 4th. I mean, it was big. You wouldn't believe that strawberry shortcake.
No,
actually.
he's talking about the fields, Bill.
Yeah, the picking. I'm
The
talking
picking.
about,
He ain't talking about shortcake.
when did the picking start for strawberries?
The end of June,
Yeah.
or if we had a really cold, then July. It's just about like it is today.
And so it lasts.
You can ask his brother Jimmy. Back then, I do remember one year in, I think it was early June, when we had that big snowstorm. Oh, everybody said the berries are gonna be gone. Some of the best berries we ever had. Oh, they got big and beautiful.
If you get the rain on them at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the end of June, and then after 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, Grandma Erickson got every berry she could. And then we'd go to the raspberry fields, and that would last maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Because
but-
they planted different kinds, sunrise, Lathams, and I don't know what they do now,
The same thing.
but they would, the early raspberries, then the medium raspberries, and the late ones, they had 3 different types.
Everbearing, they had those.
Well, we didn't have
Yeah, they
yes,
had-
she did
yes,
have
she had
everbearing.
everbearing.
Yes, she did, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
And then Fritz Myers used to have an orchard up here on the hill, and he had cherries, and they were earlier cherries, and we had picked those.
Those sour ones.
Yes.
Montmorency's is what they were called.
Oh, they were good.
What is
though.
that?
I mean,
Montmorency's. That's the name of the particular brand.
Really?
this
They were
one up
planted by
here.
Doug Knight.
Okay.
And I remember when Fritz and Anna lived up here on the farm, and they had quite a big orchard. And we
I've
picked
seen
up the-
Robin spit those cherries out there so sour.
Right.
Not really. I mean, when you're picking them, you had to eat them. I mean,
They were sour. There
they
was
were
no
sour.
getting away from
Yes,
it.
they were.
I've got one of those trees at my place.
Do you?
I'll bring you in a bowl of them this year.
Don't forget bringing the sugar with it.
Yeah. I take a plenty. That orchard you're talking about, Fritz Myers up there, was one of the first 3 that Bill Knight planted in about 1909.
Yeah, I wish it was still up there. It would
Remember
be-
those pear trees up there?
Right.
We used to cut class at the Lincoln School up there and go across the ravine.
Mrs.
And
You
snitch
remember
those
Mrs.
pears.
Colette?
No, I don't. I know the name.
Mrs. Colette, she lived up on our hill, and she had a peach tree. I mean, they never got big. Once in a while, she'd have 2 or 3 peaches on it, and they never ripened. They were harder than rocks. But she had a peach tree.
But she's
Bayfield
born
can
in
grow
Determined.
peaches.
Come hell or high water, eh?
Well, were the cherries too then processed downtown here?
No, I don't know what he
happened
did.
to the
I don't know
cherries?
what he did with the cherries. I honestly don't know.
I think they were put into those containers.
Froze. They were
Yeah.
froze too.
Yeah. I remember, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They
Yeah.
had those nice 5-gallon pails there.
Copper tins.
Tins.
But I don't remember because I was young.
Do you remember that orchard up there with those beautiful pears in it?
I remember stealing a lot of stuff because it was right across the street from my dad's.
Yeah. They were wonderful pears. I bet you those pear trees are
They
still
didn't
there.
refer to it as stealing, they referred
No,
to
we
as that,
borrowed
they
them.
referred to
We
it as
borrowed
coning.
them.
As coning, you didn't steal, you were out
That's right.
coning.
Yeah, but we don't say that word anymore.
Well,
Politically not quite correct.
yeah, not quite correct.
But that's what the word was in those days.
Yep.
And that was never meant in malice. I don't even think we just used the term and didn't even know what it meant.
I think I heard that around the Iron Bridge, that's when I started using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's go back to, we started this wonderful adventure here with Grandma Kadada on the island. Did you remember her as being probably in the 40s, being 80 years old at that point in time picking berries?
She was old all my life. I mean,
Ancient.
yeah. I remember her speaking Chippewa to us, and none of us kids knew. We couldn't speak it. We didn't understand it. They're learning more in schools now than but all our parents at that time spoke it.
Could your dad, Bob, speak Chippewa?
My dad never spoke it, but he understood it.
Oh.
And my mother spoke it fluently. And my grandmothers, both my grandmother and my great-grandmother spoke it fluently.
Your great-grandmother probably would have been born right around 1850 or 1860 then.
I don't know. Well, Uncle Tots and Uncle Joby were my great-uncles. They were
Was that Liz's uncle?
right,
Brothers.
brothers and sisters, yes.
I remember Joby,
Yeah.
and I knew Totsy too. What
And
was Tots's real name? Do you remember?
No.
I don't either.
Uncle Bud, I don't,
I know
lived down
Bud, too.
here. And they had the old house, that's where Mary Wright bought the, right above the tanks. That used to be Grandma's house.
Well, you related to Joe Crow. Who was the guy they called Joe Crow? That was Joe, wasn't that a Joe Cadot or was that a...
It could be, but I don't know. See, my grandmother was married twice. Her first husband was a Deragon, and her second husband was a Gordon. Different Gordons. But my grandmother married a Gordon,
Was his,
but my grandmother on my dad's side was a Belangi from Belangi settlement, and I'm related to the Belangis and Cadats, which are the two biggest families in this area, and I'm related on both sides.
Bob, do you think that Crow name, was that a nickname or was
I
It
think
was
there's a
it
nickname.
was a nickname.
That was the first guy I
Joe
ever
Crow.
said hello to in my life, my mother said. I was 2 years old and they were walking me up in a stroller and he came by and I said, hello, Joe. It was Joe Crow, so I wonder who that was.
I wonder,
That was a
They
Native American
remember
guy.
what they call when they mumbling Joe.
Linville,
Linville.
yeah.
Well, he was married to my aunt, my great aunt,
He
Aunt
was.
Delia. She was a
Adelia Cadot.
And
Well, I
then,
didn't know that.
yeah, then my Aunt Rosie Belangi, to live next door to Grandma Erickson. She was, how does it go? She was my aunt, but also my grandmother's brother was a Belangi. And then my mother's aunt was Rosie, so I was related to the Rosie and Belangis on both sides.
Oh, I see.
Could
It's quite a mixed up situation.
It is. And they were they weren't related to one another. None of them were related. They were just different families that I got mixed up in.
Had the last name, same
Yeah.
last name.
Got mixed up in it.
I could bring it along one of these days and show it to you, but the census of 1850 of La Pointe shows the name Dragon, Defraud, Brazat, was Besnier.
Okay.
And they, they're kind of like changed quite a bit. So I heard one time that the original Deragon name was actually Dragon. Is there any truth to that?
No, it's Deragon is a DE hyphen
Hyphen.
AGON.
Did.
Yeah.
Spanish and French.
Oh. So you got a little Spanish, Espanol in you too?
Don't you remember? You're a historian. Don't you remember when the Spanish were on the island?
And they flew the flag there right around the 1500s.
Right, the Spanish. There were Spanish on the island at one time, and before the French. So that's where we all come in from. And also, my dad's family come from Canada, out of Canada. But then again, when I was stationed in North Carolina, a Deragon came through from Maine. I didn't get to meet him, but he asked me through somebody if I could meet him. By the time I got off work, he was already shipped out, so I didn't get to meet him. So there are Deragons in Maine, New Hampshire, up there. So they must have all migrated out of Canada for different ways.
For the record, the whole area has flown under the Spanish flag for about 120 years, the French flag for I think 17, the British for X amount of years, the American flag has flown under the territories of Louisiana, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan again.
Yeah.
So the whole area, and then finally became countyized in the territory of Wisconsin, then the state of Wisconsin in 1848. So,
Yeah, Len can, like I say, Len can tell you more about what happened here in Bayfield than I can, because he was right downtown. He knew Drakenberg, and he knew the Vandevanders, and well, I knew where the stores were, but he knows more about the people.
Yeah.
let's go to the Mrs. Hebert side of the family, the Nellie Hebert.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about her origins, and give us a real background of the Hebert family, as you might know it.
Okay. My mother, or my grandmother, Margaret Hebert, came here from Ottawa, Canada. And of course, in this country, that is considered Native American. Okay. And they settled on the reservation when they came here.
Did they say the name Hebert, or was it Hebert?
It was Ebart, in a lot of places. Hebert, of course, I think was a later translation of the name.
Okay.
Maybe when more the English took over.
It's a very old North American name.
Yeah. And my mother was born at Rice Point.
During the mill days there?
Yep. I remember my dad took me out there. I think he said, I'm going to show you where your mother was born. So he took me out. We went, of course, there's no house there anymore, but there was some remains of a foundation in the house where she was born. And then he talked about Ma, of course.
Was that up near Highway 13?
13.
Or was
it was
right there?
It was behind Philip LaPointe's old store.
Okay.
Down in the woods.
Was there a road that went all the way down to the point from there?
Right there. And it was along there where they lived. And I used to kid him. I kidded him a few times. Where did you meet Ma? He said, on the reservation. Your mother was on the reservation. She was 17 when they moved to town here and lived right up behind the high school.
Okay.
I said, then you must have been in reckless teepee creeping. That was kind of a...
What did Nellie's father do then, and to be your grandmother? Tell us a little bit about that.
About Fred?
Yeah, I know that he lost his life.
Yeah, at Furlock's camp. He was 34 years old. He was a logger and left Grandma with a pretty large family. Leonard was the baby then, maybe just about 6, 7, 8 months old. And Grandma just couldn't survive out there without him. And that's when she came to town.
Did she buy the place in Bayfield?
No.
She owned the place out there and sell it, or?
She sold it out there. She never owned anything in Bayfield. She rented it, like $2 a month, Bob.
Sure.
Tried to raise all these kids. And of course, Ma was one of the older of my grandma's kids. And Leonard was in school, and Grandma got very sick.
Grandma.
Hebert became very sick. She became a diabetic, and she lost both of her legs. And
Oh boy. So that diabetes was what got your mother there?
yeah, and that's what got my mother, and it runs very rapid in our family. So anyway, Len was still young, and so my mom and dad took him, and we lived down there where Richard and Nancy live now, and
Yeah.
put him through. He went through school there. He went through college in Superior, and Ma. He always looked at Ma more as a mother than a sister.
Quite an age difference.
Yeah, quite an age difference here.
What year was Nellie born?
Well, 1913. Ed was born in 1910, and she was born in 1913, and she
Okay.
died in 71.
57.
57 years old. She was. And
You're younger than me. That's scary.
that is scary, And when you sit, Bob, and you think about your age, I told you that before. All of a sudden, the day comes where you wake up and you are your parents' age. My mother died very young. I thought that was young,
Yeah.
and it was. 22 years later, Richard died a year younger than she did.
Yeah.
At 50.
That's your brother, Richard.
My brother Richard at 56, and then 4 years ago, my youngest sister Deb passes away at 52. So age doesn't mean too much unless you can withstand it, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, if you fight the battle, and that's about it.
We only have so many hours to deal with it here, I guess.
That's right, and it's a good thing that you don't know what the future looks or stands, that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, because we'd probably all be crazier than bedbugs if we did know. But like I say, back in those days, Bob, they had a hard life, and that's what Bayfield was built on. And I'm sure that when your mother and dad, in their very young days here in town, didn't have it any better than anybody else. That's why Bayfield was such a close-knit community.
It was tough for everybody.
It was tough for everybody. Everybody was in the same boat.
Lenny, did your mother ever sit down and tell you stories about what it was like for her to be a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember any of those? Her,
sure do.
complaining about, my mother used to say, I never ever had an iron, and I never ever had, a wash machine. Tell us a little bit about what stories your mom may have told you.
They didn't. My mother was a very wise and a very smart lady, but she only went to the 5th grade, Bob, in school. They had it tough. When her dad died, she was 6 years old, and Grandma was stuck with all of this and babies, and they had to grab their bootstraps and pull them
So
up.
she became a real working member of the family versus just a young daughter growing
Oh
up.
yeah. She had.
She was a contributor versus
Yeah.
contributee or something.
She was a mother.
Yeah.
She was a daughter. She was a sister, and one hell of a worker. She played all those parts.
Helping to raise a number of kids anyway.
She had to take care of her own, plus her brothers and sisters.
How long did she stay at home in that situation? And did she depart when she was 17 or 21 or?
No, 18. 18. Their wedding picture is over there. She married Ed when she was 19. Ed was 20 or 22, and but she still brought everybody with her. It seemed like for my mom, there was tragedy in the family no matter where they turned. whenever they thought it was going to get better, something else went wrong, like such as her sister Hazel, then ended up in the sanitarium with Dr. Moody with tuberculosis. So then she had Karen and Dale, Hazel and Vern's kids. Vern was in the sanitarium. It always seemed to me like my mother was always kind of in the background, but kept everybody pretty stable.
She never escaped the family duties.
She never did. And as life, later years went on, of course, things became more comfortable for her. But then when it could have been really the best time of her life, in comfort, then she was sick herself.
When it came to the point where she could possibly start to enjoy
Enjoy.
life a little bit, her health failed.
Then her health failed. Not that, she always considers with this house right here how fortunate she said she was. Back in the late 50s, there wasn't too many brand new homes being built, and she was fortunate enough to have one. She always appreciated that very much, but
It was much nicer than she'd ever probably had in her life.
in her whole life. And her and Ed took a few nice trips. The last trip that they took to Louisiana and on to Florida, she was blind.
By 57, she was blind.
Yeah, so she went, and she said she had a good time, but I just wondered how much of a good time she really had outside of saying I was there. That's about.
They were pretty good friends of Don Sanders and
That's who they were with on that trip.
Millie.
Don and Millie Sanders. They lived in Louisiana.
Tupelo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's where they lived, and they summered here in Bayfield.
How did Ed get to know the Sanders family? Was that through the Pluswood operations? And
I don't think it was Bob. It was so much through the Pluswood operation as it was Dr. Sanders. Don's dad was a doctor.
Okay.
He had owned quite a bit of Outer Island. And of course, Ed logged that island, and I think in the earlier years he got to know Dr. Sanders before he met Don.
Okay.
And through the, like I say, through the logging and whatnot. And then Millie, when Millie and Don came here, she was a dancer. She ran a dance studio. So they became good friends. And, well, as it all turned out, in the end, Millie ended up to be Ed's third wife.
Yeah.
But...
We won't go into that.
We won't go into this. We just won't go
The good, the bad, and the ugly, Glenn.
Yeah, we just won't go into
That's
this.
history.
They were quite a pair. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ask me. But anyway,
Okay.
that
Whatever it is.
whatever, that's it. Everybody.
That was after Shirley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after
It's
sure.
like Stan Laurel says, you don't cry over split milk.
Yeah.
Bad
But I guess it wasn't the worst thing in the world, because everybody should be able to do what they want to do with their own life. And Ed surely did.
Well, maybe she wasn't bad. Then there was Shirley. Shirley was the second.
Shirley was the
Brock.
second wife.
And we won't get into that.
We won't get into that.
No, but when did Ed and Shirley get together?
Oh, I can tell you exactly when it was.
Well, let's hear
Oh,
it.
And
no.
where I can tell
There we
you.
go.
No, I'll jump way ahead of this and tell you when they were married. They were married October 11th, 1972. Because
and Nellie had died.
in 71. 13 months later, Ed married Shirley.
Right.
And the only reason
Sting.
Yeah, the only reason I remember that so well is because my sister Deb had married Randy Burzett the same year, just about a month apart. And so they were very busy having, what would you call, wedding receptions or whatever.
I like Shirley.
Bill always liked Shirley. She used to
Yeah.
come into the tavern real often. She never came in there when I was there, but she always went in when Bill was there. But then again, Ed and I always had a lot of differences in life, and we didn't quite agree on many things. But
Many things, everything.
everything.
If he said black, you'd
I'd say white. I had to. Bob. I
It
had to.
got to be a matter of principle.
Yeah, it
didn't have
had
anything
to. It just
to do
had
with
to.
rationale.
Yeah, it just had.
Lenny, what was Shirley's last name?
Well, this is really interesting. I had that in the back of my mind. She had an excellent last name. On her driver's license or whatever, it says Shirley A. Bratt. B-R-A-T-T. And I thought, how appropriate. Her husband, you know, they had a blacktop business in Racine. That's where Ed laid a fresh water line from Milwaukee to Racine that year. And Mr. Bratt had this asphalt company, and he died during the process of all that. And of course, I'm sure that Shirley took over. That isn't all she took over.
Well, we won't go into that.
We won't go to that. Because I really apologize that I said that. But anyway, yeah, her last name was Bratt. She had Lads and Lassies downtown Racine. It was a clothing store that was designed for little kids. She was a very talented lady. You can't take that away from her. When she came here, they opened up the dock shop. She was an artist. She was a beautiful seamstress. All in all, as a businesswoman, she knew her business.
She told me one story one time, I didn't know if it was true or not, but she said that she was raised as a child in the Ringling Brothers Bar and Bailey.
That's true.
And her very good friend was Emmett Kelly.
Yes.
So probably for the future, Emmett Kelly was the premier clown for Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey
Yeah.
for many years.
Shirley had a lot of paraphernalia. The elephants, for one thing. Yeah, she had a lot of the clowns.
She painted clowns.
She painted clowns.
Oh, she did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All in all, Shirley was a very
Plaques.
She
yeah.
was a circus child, I guess.
Yeah, she was a very talented lady.
And so the dock shop was in its present location?
Right where it is now, like I say, when they first opened it up, it was when Ed purchased that piece of property there. That's where Henry and Ruthie Johnson owned all of that property. And when they left here, my mother and dad bought that from Henry and Ruthie, and there was an old broken down fish shed.
Sure, I
there.
remember like yesterday.
Oh, there's a fish shed there where
Fish
the dock
shed.
shop is now?
Yeah, and when Shirley married Ed and they came to Bayfield, they remodeled just the upstairs of that fish shed, and that's where she opened her first store, the dock shop.
That was a good idea.
She named it Lads and Lassies when she first
name.
opened it. And then as time went on, when they tore it down and built this new one, then the name was changed to the dock shop.
See, that old dock used to belong to Herman Johnson Sr.
Yes.
And I can remember all the nets that used to be piled in there as
Yeah.
a kid. We used to swim into there in the summertime. The walls were knocked out. It was
Yeah.
pretty tough shape when Ed picked it up.
Yeah, it
Did
was.
a lot to it.
He did like, he basically rebuilt it.
And the dock too.
And the dock, it was just a
It was
piece.
a lot deeper in those days.
Yeah.
What was deeper?
The water.
The
It
water.
went almost all the way up to where the pier is.
Yeah,
All
See,
those rocks.
Ed put,
That's where the
back that
water-
lake up, if he wanted to,
They
that's
had
what he
water
did.
under all that
Yeah.
pilings.
What did the DNR think of that?
Well, he always maintained that if you were doing anything that somebody might give you a little bit of grief about, you either did it late Saturday night or on Sunday morning when they were all in church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the accomplishment hours.
That's basically the way they
If
operated.
you wanted to build anything, you put a lean-to.
Put a
on.
lean-to up, and then next week we'll put our living room in it.
Yeah.
I think that's the way Bayfield was developed.
Tell us a little bit more about your mom and dad were very good friends with Ruthie and little Henry.
Oh,
What do you remember about the Johnson family?
I'll tell you what. I tried to duplicate her cabbage salad, and nobody in the world would ever make it.
Ah,
Ruthie. For years, Bill and I had Ruthie and Henry's fish kettle. You know, we used to go there a lot for fish dinners. You know, back in those days, I mean, I can remember when my dad came home with the first TV we ever had. The entertainment for any family, Bob, back in those days were visiting in the evening,
house to house.
house to house, going to dinner, playing cards.
You never even called them up in advance.
No, you just went.
Now you got to make an appointment to see anybody.
You know, my
We
mother
didn't
was
have telephones.
my mother was a braided rug maker, and she had I've got her sewing basket in there. I can still see her walking out the door with some of her wool pieces and going to Ruthie's. Ed and Ruthie used to race up and down Cooper Hill. Foot race. Ruthie was quite a runner. When in her younger day, you know, I don't know if he ever beat her, if he admitted that he beat her, but I think she beat him a few times. She was quite a...
She was from Washburn, wasn't she?
Yeah. She had a sister Ann, and her brother, what was his name? He lost his arm up to here in an explosion at DuPont. Roy Paulson. Roy Paulson
Yeah.
was his name. Ann Paulson, Ruth. There was just the three of them there.
Did you ever meet Henry's sister Lillian at all? Do you remember her?
Yes, I remember Lil. She was a lovely lady.
Tell me a little bit about her. I don't remember, but I see her name in the record books.
She was a beautiful dancer. Just, you know, and they would come to, I don't know if they lived in Chicago or where they,
She went to school here in Bayfield. She graduated from Bayfield in
Okay.
about 31.
okay.
A couple of years ahead of my dad, and just a year behind your dad. I
Yeah. So, you know, and they would come and visit a lot. But like I say, things were different. You know, the Paulsons still lived in Washburn, Ruthie's hometown, and along with Fern Pulaski. You know, that was her. Cudmore, that was her hometown. And it was just kind of funny when you think about that back. These Washburn women basically married Bayfield men, and they never moved more than 12 miles apart all those years. And maybe there was a reason for that, but you know, but back in those days, like you say, they didn't have TVs and stuff like that.
Tell them about what your mother used to say about dancing down at the pavilion.
Oh, they danced at the pavilion. You know, my dad.
Big name bands. used
Big
to come
name
here to
bands.
Bayfield.
You know how short she was, Bob?
Yeah.
She was only 5'1". Ed was 6'2", probably 6'3" at his top point. And she always bought his ties. He never bought a tie when he was married to her. I don't know what he did with his other wives, but Ma always bought his ties, and she always was kind of proud of that. And I'd say, well, she would pick out his ties when they were getting dressed. Put this one on or put that one on or whatever. How come you're doing that? As we got older, you know, sometimes he'd say no and she'd say yes. You're going to wear this tie. And especially if they were going out to dinner and dancing. And I said, well, Ma, how come you're so insistent about his ties? Well, she said, that's not hard to figure out. She said, he's a foot taller than I am. She said, and when I'm dancing with him, that's all I look at is his tie. So therefore, he'll wear what I tell him to.
That's a cute story.
Yeah.
Did they ever tell you what bands came to Bayfield? Do you recall any of them?
Who was
I
that?
had the Jimmy Dorsey.
Yes.
band there.
Jimmy Dorsey
Yeah.
was in town.
Oh, I mean those had. Can you imagine the
That one from
excitement?
Canada.
Canada. What were their names? Can you imagine the excitement for the town?
Guy Lombardo, wasn't he from Canada?
Was
I
he?
don't remember if that was the name, but
Yeah.
it
But can
could
you
have been.
imagine the excitement for those folks back then, with that band down there in that pavilion?
You brought the ink spot, sure.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That was many years ago.
I remember that.
You remember that? And but I mean the excitement that they must have had. I mean, what would you do today to have to get a big name band because there isn't any left?
Well, they don't do it in town, you know. What they do is they do it through places like Chautauqua now. So they bring in, you know, kind of big stuff like that. But in those days, I wonder who was the
I
backer
wonder
of those bands?
who
Was it
was?
the chamber or?
Did this town even have a chamber?
Sure,
didn't
they
have a
had
chamber.
men's clubs and chambers.
Chambers?
And
Remember
J.P.
when they,
O'Malley ran a lot of that stuff.
do you remember when they wore the red hats, Bob?
Yeah. I don't remember it, but I know of it.
Okay, I remember it when the men all wore the red hats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was kind of a
Bayfield
mark.
Commercial Club.
That was
That's
kind
what
of a
it
mark
was,
of the
exactly.
city.
That was started by William Knight and those guys
And
back
they
in
used
the
to have that big sign right as you come into
Yeah.
Bayfield.
No, they just
Right there it says, "Welcome to Bayfield, Bayfield Commercial Club."
And what was the commercial club?
It was just the people that own businesses downtown,
Formed
and
under
they
the
formed
Chamber
their
of
own
Commerce.
club before
Yeah.
the chamber. They did their own chambers.
And they were big into advertising in
Then
Chicago and all
the
over.
redhead.
What
red
I can't
hats.
figure out though, you know, they were just as big then as not maybe quite as big then as they are now. But how did they manage to run all of that? Like Virginia Burton has ran it out of her kitchen.
It's called being organized.
Is that what? Huh? Evelyn-
Hill O'Malley,
Eh,
JP.
they all ran that stuff and made the town work, basically from their kitchen table.
Yeah.
They didn't have no chamber building. They didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
City Hall never had anybody working there.
City Hall never had
Council would
anybody.
meet and the treasurer signed the
That's
checks
why
and go
my
home.
that's why my ma used to say every once in a while Ed's check for $50 or $60 that he got from the city would come up missing,
Tony Lindquist.
and she would say,
Tony Lindquist's shoe shop.
Yeah.
Where the cops had their station.
but he would say something about his check from the city. Well, basically, my mother was his secretary. I mean, he was out working all day long. You know, and she took all his calls, and so I suppose she figured she was entitled to get paid. So every once in a while, one of the city checks would come up missing, and he never argued or too much about it.
I
But
think that's when he was mayor.
that's when he was mayor,
Yeah.
First mayor.
first mayor, yeah. Maybe your ma did the same thing with your dad. You don't know.
Well, everything went into one pool in our house.
Yeah.
And, you know, there wasn't much in
Yeah.
that pool.
Bill, tell again about where the cops met. I mean, what was
The which?
where the cops?
The cops.
and
Tony Lindquist. He had the
Shoe
shop.
Shoe
where was the shoe shop?
Right up from Myers' drugstore.
It was
No, that doesn't help. Where was Myers Drugstore?
no, it was
Right at the
between
corner.
Myers Drugstore and what is now the Eulery.
Jewelry. There used to
Right
be two
in
buildings
between
in there.
Right there.
I don't
That's
even
where-
know what's in the old drugstore now.
Yeah,
And also Art had his cab stand there.
Art Johnson.
Art Johnson had his cab stand there too.
Uh-huh.
And Art Johnson also had his cab stand upstairs in Grunke's.
So that was
Along with the Coast Guard station had their first, not headquarters, station was upstairs in Grunke's.
Yeah, it was,
And so that's where that was the police station,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
to speak.
Yeah. That's
Coast Guard station there too.
also McCarty's coal shed was they had.
do you remember that right between there? I don't know how Barney Google got in there. I mean, he weighed about 300 pounds, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that building was only about that wide.
Yeah,
Where
but
was-
it was
where
all
was
the
that?
way to the alley.
Yeah, but it was so narrow. How did he get in there?
And where was that coal shed?
That was between the coal
Sweet
shed.
Sailing.
Yeah, Sweet Sailing was the coal shed, and right between the Sweet Sailing and with Morty's was this little cubbyhole, and that was the cop station.
It
Yeah.
was.
And the
He
cop,
signed my first driver's license with white ink.
who was the police officer then?
Barney.
Okay.
Barney who?
Well, we called him Barney Google. I guess I don't even know his last name. That's the only thing we ever referred to him as.
The earliest,
Parks.
No, that was L. Parks.
Yeah. Al Parks was there in the 60s, and prior to him being there, I remember Hermie Sense was the police officer, because my dad said in the 30s, all you had to do in those days was go up to the police officer and ask to have a driver's license, and they give you the license right on the spot.
Yeah, right there.
Yes, my
I think all you
my
had to be is
stepmother,
16.
She got a license and she never drove a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she kept it up all the years until she died.
Yeah.
Never drove.
But that's the way it was in those days. Now you gotta take 10 tests and
Yeah,
drive to China and back. And,
yeah, that's about it.
but anyway, so the
Well,
Main
the-
Street was hustling and bustling in those days.
Beautiful trees on the sides of the streets.
You guys remember when Tony Lindquist was the mayor then?
Yep,
He might. I don't remember who the mayor
I do,
was.
I do.
I remember
When did they cut the trees down?
Well,
On
the
Main
Bayf,
Street.
I can only go, I think the Bayfield, I know the Bayfield Inn burned April 5th, 1963. Am I correct? Okay, so it had to be after, shortly after 63, they started cutting the trees
Then they
because,
widened the roads.
But I mean
that's
that-
why
You
they
remember
came
those
down.
beautiful maples that were... Tell you a little story about the maples. In
they're
1872,
gorgeous.
those trees in Bayfield, including up by the Episcopal Church, they were all planted in 1872 as part of a campaign by R.D. Pike to, beautify the city. So they, when they were cut in the 70s here, they were 100 years old at that point in time, and they were gorgeous trees.
I don't know why they did that.
Well, they were probably getting pretty, I don't know how long a maple will live.
When we were
Well, it was the state, it was the highway, it was the
The
state
highway.
highway.
Yeah,
The
they
highway.
widened it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we lived out Sand Bay, we wanted the tree that was supposed to go to Madison. We wanted the tree cut out of our
Out of our yard.
our yard.
But it was too big.
It was too big.
It was too big, so.
and they took a boar.
And that
it
tree
over
was,
120 years old.
I've got the core downstairs that came out of that tree.
That was missed during that logging
Yeah,
estimate.
it's still
Yeah.
out there growing.
It's still growing.
What kind is it?
It's a pine of
Some
some
kind of pine, yeah.
If it ever falls, it's
Gigantic.
gonna smash everything for 2 miles. No, downtown Bayfield, Bob, as you know, was,
It was a beautiful town,
little,
that's for sure.
little bustling,
Did you guys ever work at Allwood's Manufacturing Corporation?
We both did.
You didn't live here. You could not live here if you did not work at Allwood, even if it was just for an hour. That had, that was,
Sometimes we wish it was only an
Bob,
hour.
that, back in those days, that was the requirement on a resume, that you worked at
You didn't
Allwood.
work there, you're nobody. in the
You're nobody, you
You
didn't,
never worked.
you never worked.
You guys remember Del Berger at all?
Oh, yes.
Dell,
Yeah.
yes,
Did you
his
know him
wife.
well enough to speak about him at all? Or
Sure.
tell us a little bit about.
Well, you know that Bobby
Well,
Durham,
what was his job?
he owned Allwoods.
He owned Allwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
He drove big, beautiful Cadillacs, Nice man. He was a nice man. Well, Bobby Durham was his secretary for
End
100 years. And when John got married, John Durham married Peggy. I stood up for John and Peggy at their wedding. And of course, the whole party and everything was held at Bobby's house and
Peggy Myers.
Peggy Myers. And of course, Del Berger and his wife were there. And Florence Scoville from up on the corner here. She played the organ. Well, she was in vaudeville, Florence was, and well, that turned out to be quite a party, And we ended up on Madeline Island in Del Berger's big Cadillac. I don't think that should be for print. I don't think that should be for print because Del, if he had anything to say, he said it. He called a spade a spade. And but like I say, he ran that plant down there for many years. When he came to town, he was in insulation. Did you know that?
What year did he come to town? I didn't. First of all, I didn't know that he was insulation.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was his deal when he came to town here. Was insulation. I don't know.
Did he come in the
I
canning period of time?
Oh yeah, Del Berger was here in the. He started Allwood while the canning company was still going on, and as that was fading out, he was buying up.
See, the Allwood used to belong to the Bassett family. They had a livery there
Yeah.
in the old days, and they also sold Dodge vehicles in there.
Okay.
Prior to Del coming
Okay.
to town.
Yeah.
The W.J. Bassett people.
Yeah, but Del Berger was in insulation, and how he got into lumber, who knows? I
Cheap
can't.
labor.
No, I can't. You'd have to have more than cheap labor just
Well,
to get into the
Didn't
lumber
all
business.
the hardwoods, I don't know where the hardwoods came from.
Veneers and hardwood.
Wasn't that stuff shipped to North Carolina in
Well,
pre-cut packages or something
Sure,
like that?
you know,
Panels. We'd make panels, or we'd make. I've made panels.
one of Dahlberger's biggest customers were the Shyrock Company, kitchen cupboards.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and they were made right here at Allwood. That
So
was
they assembled here too then?
no, they were the doors.
The panels are
all
made.
the panels are made
panels
and
are
shipped out, but that was all that was Shyrock. And Cameron.
What's that big guy in Las Vegas? Dunkashane.
Oh,
I don't-
yeah, I know who you're talking about
All his cabinets were made
at
here
Allwood.
in Bayfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes, for his house in
for
Las
his
Vegas.
house in Las Vegas.
Because I remember with my
Wayne
sister.
Newton.
Wayne Newton.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
that's
there
it.
was a lot of people. Shyrock Company was big. That was a big outfit. And how Dell got mixed up with them, I don't know. But
Really?
he serviced a lot of their, many orders came. And they would be stamped Shyrock.
Yeah.
Well, they
Stamped
have-
Shyrock when they left
When
here.
they left here, they were stamped Shyrock. They were off to the Shyrock
Assembly plant or something.
Assembly, but those cupboards or panels were made right here.
Did you guys, do you remember, did they ever spray them or anything where they shipped kind of rough and then they're sprayed like it down at the major Shyrock plant and?
I don't ever remember the spraying.
I-
The last step
I
there
worked on
was
a
the
spreader.
big belt sander. Big belt sander. That was the
Worked
last.
on a spreader and a big press. That's where I worked.
And then in this first, where the marina
Offices?
offices was, that room was the gluing room, and that was all done by hand. Ask me.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
sticky
And
fingers.
those
with
panels
that.
would come down, and you had.
That's where all the cancer came from.
Yes, well, I don't know if that's where it came from, but I think it helped. Yeah, those were clamped. That was all hand work, and those were the inside frames for the Shyrock cupboards.
How many people worked at all?
Oh, 7. Well, I'll tell
There were
you.
2 shifts there too when I worked there, and I worked there in '62.
Remember the 4 o'clock, didn't they have a 4 o'clock whistle or something there?
Hang on, you
And it was just
Yeah.
a lot.
okay, we're rolling.
We're back at, we're just on a new tape, right, or a new thing. And we're at Allwoods, and Lenny was just, gonna refresh your memory as to who worked there and those type of things, so
it was
take it
just-
away, Len.
Okay. With the employees?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ann Cameron, Millie and Hein Lees, Al Pachaver, Barney Cadat,
Moochie.
Moochie,
Moochie
yeah.
P. Chaver.
Pete Pachaver.
Yeah.
There was almost all of the Bonnies
All
worked
the
there.
Derrigans.
All the Derrigans worked there. Leon Beauchamp, when he came to
Yes.
Bayfield, he became their plant manager. Leon did. And
Remember Warren Anderson there?
yes,
And Philip Bushy, I remember him throwing,
Phil and
Coming out of the
Pavasser,
Bayfield,
Al Pavasser,
John Provosky.
John Pavasser. His sister had the Vogue in Ashland, you know. Yeah. But anyway, 1968, when I bought the tavern from Grayson Ward Holzbowl,
Lampa too.
huh? Of all the
Ted Lampas
yes, all the lampas.
drove a truck for him.
Sure.
Tell us about
Yeah.
the transition from those guys on Friday nights, maybe is where you're.
Well, this is where it started then, Bob. I bought the tavern from Grayson Ward, and Friday night came. They automatically came in my first Friday night. They automatically came in to cash their checks. Well, I didn't have that kind of money laying around. Well, it caused quite a stir because back in those days, the banks closed at 3 o'clock. Oh, it wasn't too long after that, Agnes Nelson called me up to the bank and she said, because Ward and Grace always cashed the Allwood checks. And she said, I'm going to make you an offer. You don't have to take it. But she said, the Allwood checks, the majority of them are always cashed in that tavern. if I give you $6,000 every Friday, you keep the odd change, the odd pennies for cashing the check. So I would go up to the bank about 1:30, 2 o'clock, get $6,000, take it back to the tavern. Allwood would come in. I mean, what a boost to my own business. And I cashed their checks. Well, that went on until they closed.
I wondered how you guys did that.
It went on till they closed, till Allwood closed. Tweety was working, and the place would fill up at 4 o'clock. It was automatic, you know, and I was the only one, or Bill, were the only ones that would handle that money. And then I would put it back in the safe, you know, the checks, and then go back to the bank on Monday morning. I would get the odd pennies, that's what she paid me,
To handle that money.
to handle that money. That's
Did
what
they
Agnes,
make any money on the, I mean, didn't they have a deal where you had to borrow it and come back and pay them? Or do they just say, here, take the money?
no, back in those days, Agnes said you just take the $6,000 because that's what it takes. That's what Grace and Ward had done for years. That was well known that the Allwood checks were cashed in that bar. And when they left, when I bought the place, then that put it out. But yet the banks weren't open. Andy's, none of the grocery stores wanted to deal with that, cashing all that money. So,
And the bank was closed?
and the bank was closed at 3 o'clock. Allwood didn't get done till 4. I would go at 1:30, 1:45, get the money, and I did that for years. And then on Sunday or Monday morning, we would.
But you didn't have to pay back any
No,
percentage?
no, nothing. No, that was, I got paid
Courtesy.
courtesy, and I got paid the extra pennies.
Well, that was nice of her to do that for the guys too.
Yeah, well, like,
She
you
was a
know,
businesswoman.
she was concerned about, well, where were they gonna go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't go, 75, 80, 90 people couldn't be running into the grocery
Walmart.
store or Walmart, yeah, to cash these checks, so
Yeah.
that's the way,
I don't think Sam was alive yet.
I don't think so either, but that's the way they operated, and it worked all right. And like I just said a minute or two ago, it was a great boost for our business,
Yeah.
you know.
I bet you had to hustle up on Monday morning so you didn't wanna,
Oh yeah,
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
She opened at 9.
she
and if
wanted
you were a minute late.
she wanted that back there. She wanted it back, and she had it back every Monday
So
morning.
that got to be a routine for years. and
Yeah,
years.
years. I don't know, Bill, how many years did we do it? Well, we did
What year
it
did it always close? Do you remember?
70.
I remember the
74.
the bank was shaped.
Yeah, 74,
L-shaped.
Bill?
Huh?
74, Allwood closed?
About that, I think,
74, 75, something like that.
when
last-
Jacobson
Libby.
moved
Libby,
it down to Mason or
Yeah.
someplace
I
down there.
can still see Barney Cadot standing in the bar window looking at that
That's
place
when my
the
dad
last day it
retired.
was open.
Sad.
I mean, they spent their whole life there, working.
And why did it close?
Business.
Business or the, well,
no
you
more
see,
business.
well, there was no more business because Dell got old and he sold it off.
And he sold it to Jacobson.
He sold it to the Jacobsons, then Libby came, and
I remember when she was here.
it
they-
never
Big
did what it did
No.
when Dell owned
They
it.
were-
It had its heyday.
Well,
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't
she
compete
had
with
three
bigger-
three
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
She had three.
She had
places.
three mills.
Bayfield and Mason and another one down
Because
further.
when they closed this one, the equipment,
moved, yeah.
yeah, the equipment that was in this plant went to one of her plants.
They downsized that.
But I can still see Barney Cadot standing in that window, staring across the street the last day that they were there. And Barney was one of the last ones to leave the building. You
Well,
know,
you guys have a good idea what the looks are in America right now. when your plant shuts down, you've got nothing.
You got nothing, you know, and it was actually sad. It was just,
Well,
the whole thing was
that's
sad.
when it's going to start losing people.
Yeah,
Another group
Yeah.
of people,
another group of people,
another industry hits the dust.
yeah.
Too far north or whatever it was.
And I'll be very,
That's when the train stopped.
that's when the train stopped, and we, as bar owners, and operating within that scope all those years, felt it too when that plant left,
Mm-hmm.
big time. And,
And when the cannery quit.
You went through the same thing as they're going through in America now.
that's right. And only thing I can think back then, Bob, was, I can be very honest, when we bought the tavern, it was on a 7-year land contract. We paid it off in 5 years because of Allwood.
Sure.
Because of
The
Allwood.
cash flow was there.
Was there every single week. It was there.
And thank God, and you got it paid for.
And we got it, well, I don't know what we would have done if we'd had that mortgage looking at us when all would close.
Yeah, let's say you had a 20-year mortgage on it. You'd have been in a pickle.
We'd have been done for.
Yeah.
We'd have been done for. You know, they talk about tourist business here in Bayfield. Of course, tourist business, and it's all geared now today. We appreciated tourist business, but we didn't rely on it.
No.
We relied on local people.
The working
and
class.
The working class, and
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was-
think we would have done it any
You
other
gotta
way.
remember too, when we were started in business, we didn't have this many tourists.
Well, no,
We
no,
didn't have
no.
this, we didn't have all the
We
marinas.
met a lot of lovely people, you know, made a lot of good friends. There's some good friends that we met during an apple festival 100 years ago that are coming
I
here
think,
next
what,
month.
20, 30 years ago?
Gene
20,
and
30
Jane,
years
yeah.
ago? Oh. Gene
We were
and Jane.
running a stand outside the tavern. Gene Anderson was his name. When this new Bayfield Inn was being built, Gene was up here as a not a contractor, as a cement person. And he worked on the Bayfield Inn, so he was kind of familiar with Bayfield. So they always came back. Well, then the Apple Festival started and all that stuff. And my first recollection of Gene and Jane Anderson was when Bill and I had that stand outside, and we had hot dogs or whatever, and they had this big bowl of mustard. And this guy came up and ordered hot dogs or whatever he ordered, and his name was Gene, and I went to give it to him, and when I gave it to him, I hit that bowl and it fell off the table and all over his brand new white tennis shoes.
Oh, God.
And I said, well, oh well. I'll buy your, I think I said something like, well, you don't have to pay for those hot dogs. And whatever. But anyway, through
Struck
that,
up a friendship there.
we've been very, very good friends for many years. Gene was here when we built our new home out in Sand Bay and
He helped put up the walls.
helped put up the walls. And now they're coming back next month. So as tourists go, you know, I would like to see Bayfield not rely as much on it as they do. You know, it would be so nice if there was an
If
industry
we had
here.
an industry.
Something here. Make toothpicks. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, you gotta have a draw.
You have to have something.
You know? It's
and of course
especially
that's been
bad,
the-
like with the school district.
Yeah.
All our kids leave, and that's been the
They-
tradition though for 150 years here in
Well,
Bayfield.
what to
Yeah.
keep them?
Why stay?
Well,
we have
Bob,
a
you
casino.
didn't go.
We have a casino,
Yeah,
but
I got by though. You know, I worked for the state, and I got
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't work for jobs like that, or Mary Rice, or the school district, or something,
Yeah.
or independent like you guys, you're
I
going.
went
you
4
don't-
years.
You don't have a K-9 or whatever for our future, you know.
Yeah.
We gotta rely on Social Security. At the wage scale here, it's not much when you get ready to retire.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
I just, you know, and what would you possibly do to change?
Yeah, what would you do, Len, if you were the mayor or something like
Oh,
that?
the mayor, that's all they need.
I mean, start someplace and leadership in the community.
Well, I'll tell you, and I don't think we all know that there's very wealthy people living here. We know that. They came here, they bought up Bayfield. They've taken these old homes, they've turned them from an old home into houses that cost whatever. As long as they like it so well, as long as the people like it so well, Why don't they start a slush fund? There's a lot of outlaying land here outside of town a little bit. Garner a factory to come here.
Yeah.
Garner
Maybe it should be
some-
an industrial park here. or
Yeah, there's a lot of room here, between here and Redcliffe, between here and Washburn. You wouldn't only be helping Bayfield with something like that, you'd be helping the surrounding communities, which I think would be a big help.
Yeah.
And we have to, I would say that you
gotta
should constantly
understand, there's
understand
no
what.
shipping.
What do you care? They got trucks. They have 18-wheelers.
You know, there's a lot of cottage industries right now
Yeah,
in the area that, you know, that do e-commerce.
yeah,
You don't need a lot of these businesses to do everything out of their home.
yeah.
You
See?
can, you know, do something like that here
But
too.
most of our businesses are family owned. I mean, the orchards,
Well, we're not talking
nurseries.
orchard, we're talking
I know.
adding a new industry.
the industry is apples, and we have our winery, family owned.
Hold on a second. From what I understand from the farmers today, you can't even get a kid to pick a strawberry.
You can't.
Well, then why would you say that we should concentrate so much on that as an industry?
Because
Who's gonna pick it? You?
it's a good industry.
Good. It's very
Yes,
good.
it is. If we had,
We should have,
kids nowadays, all they say, Dad, I need some money.
well, I'm not gonna argue that point with you. I agree. But it's not gonna bring Bayfield back to what it was 40 years
We're
ago.
not gonna see
Or
it.
in our lifetime,
We're not gonna see.
what we had.
I think it needs a new vision.
At something new outside here a little bit.
You're finding even the apple orchards up here now are getting older. And there's a new way of doing business in the apple business too.
Sure, everything has changed, you know.
There- what did I read where there's like these little companies? Jimmy and I worked for Jim last year and we probably made 8,000 gallons worth of cider
Cider.
in an hour. Some of these companies that, you know, got these little drafts of, you know, what the kids pick up these little containers and the straw in them. They'll do 8,000 gallons of apple juice in an hour. And
What?
it's- Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You know, like Minute Maid or something like that.
Okay.
They put them in little containers.
So how could we compete with that?
Well,
Well, I
you
mean,
can stay
there's
local.
niche marketing now all over. You grow things and make things which have a little niche that you
Okay.
can market through the internet
Okay,
globally.
all
And
right.
that's one way to.
That's one
beat
way to
that-
do it,
To beat the big corporations.
to
you know.
beat the big corporate.
Mariel did a nice job up there finding a little niche in her, you know, the little restaurant business.
Yeah,
Or, you know, the little shop up there
Yeah.
with all the goodies in it, and then a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I think they do pretty well, but
Yeah.
she created that niche in the community.
She
But
did.
you watch it now, everybody's starting to do that, so the niche is gone.
Has gone, see. I still say that, this area has to be worth more than just tourist business.
Yeah.
It has to be. There has to be something here that we can offer to the world or to the country or to whatever. What we had and what we relied on when we were kids, such as the fishing, everybody knows what happened there.
Lampreys.
The farming industry here, everybody pretty much knows how they've struggled through their time. The best example I could say is New Richmond, Wisconsin. You ever watch what they did? Well, I'll tell you what. There was some good heads there. A little community that basically had nothing. Dying out.
A little farm community.
Little farm community, dying out. So what did they do? They courted those guys that build green tractors,
John Deere.
John Deere, into their community, put up that big factory. They are thriving like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
They didn't only save their community, it is more than doubled or tripled
Yeah.
in population. I know that maybe that they're 300 or 400 or 500, 400 miles south of here, but there has to be something that Bayfield can offer to the outside world to bring them here.
Yeah,
And I don't know what that would be, Bob.
yeah.
Toothpick factory. the whole world looking for toothpicks. We have a lot of trees here.
Could we back up a little bit to Allwood?
Okay.
Because just like you described the inner workings of the cannery,
Okay.
could we get into the inner workings of Allwood? Like, where did the wood come from? Did they mill it there and do it all from A to Z, or?
It came
what do you
in by
remember?
railroad.
Was
the
the
wood.
lumber already milled?
The lumber was milled when it came in, but
Yes,
it
it
came
was.
in rough. It was rough form. But then in where they had the band saws in the basement, I worked on those where you
What?
fed it through
Where the bank is now, both banks, that used to be a big field, and we used to pile lumber there. Many stacks and stacks, and to
but
dry it out.
To dry
And
until
then-
they put the kiln in.
Right, and then, yeah, it had to come in by rail.
Yeah, it did come by rail. Don't you
And-
remember right where Leon Beauchamp lives? There's an alley right there. Those
Right.
big trucks would pull in and they'd slam on their brakes and all that lumber would fly off and they'd pile it then and put it into the kiln. But it was in
To dry it,
boards to
yeah,
dry. It
to
was
dry
in
it.
boards about what 6-8 inches wide.
And I
10, 15 feet long,
they have
maybe?
to go through the planer.
The planers.
So it was rough cut.
It was
lumber.
rough cut. Yeah, it was rough cut. But all would basically
And not kiln dried when you got it.
no.
it wasn't
So you
so
either
dry.
field dried it for
We-
many
we
years,
did it
and then
here.
all of a sudden they got more sophisticated,
Yeah.
put a kiln
Yeah.
in. So I remember old Philip Bushy throwing that stuff out of there right and left.
Yeah, and
Mr. Lease too, and
those big high piles would come out of the kiln and it was on like a revolving thing where it would turn and they would bring it inside. And I don't know how long it was in there. Smelt good though, you know that? That really smelled good when you walked by. Well, we only lived up one house away. We smelt that a lot.
How many fires were started there?
Well, there was a lot of fires
remember
there.
that big silo they had in the back there?
Yeah.
That, I was in the fire department, we went down there, what, every other week it seemed
Yeah.
something was going on.
Well, sure, for the sawdust would come around, you know?
Up that flue and through that thing, and
Yeah.
So then once the lumber was milled, then what was the next step?
The next step, it was taken either to the cannery
Yeah.
or it was brought over to
I mean,
where
what
the...
used to be the cannery.
Yeah, what used to be the cannery, or it was where Bayfield on the lake was, or is, brought there.
The old co-op.
The co-op brought downstairs, put through the planers.
that's what the planers were on the lakefront there.
The planers were on the lakefront,
Uh-huh.
and it was put through there. Then it was taken back upstairs. It was put through the
Cutters.
cutters,
I can
and
see.
and there you are.
I can see the old loading dock, and
Yeah.
right here was the office, and over
Yeah.
here's, I could see all the guys working in there on machinery.
Yeah,
It was a large building, John.
they were big. They were. It was quite a big operation.
So then they would, once it was all planed and cut, they would cut it to size for cabinets and
Cabinets and
Were those all
whatever they
Different
Different
size-
or-
different
whatever the
size
order
panels.
was.
it was kind of a production line that it would
Okay.
go into.
The narrow pieces then were shipped back across the street for gluing.
The slats.
The slats, they were glued.
Uh-huh.
And I'd get them
Yeah.
with the spreader, and then I'd have
Yeah.
What
to
did,
press
this,
the
what did the spreader do?
glue.
Glue,
Okay, so that was a glue spreader. When
Yeah.
you
The
say
glue
spreader,
yeah, it was
And
glue.
then it'd go under the hot press.
Yeah, well, that,
They-
that,
I mean,
that was a terrible
many
job.
burns.
That was a
So
terrible
they were
job.
laminating the wood.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah,
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 we put skins on them.
yeah, and then the surface pieces, what'd you call them?
Skins.
Well, not skins, they were, what's
So the
the,
veneer.
there you go.
Veneer.
The
yeah.
veneer
Well,
would come.
Dolly worked in veneer.
Yeah.
They had
The
to
veneer
go on
would go on,
like plywood this way and this way. Then the veneer would be on
the
top.
and
veneer,
they sent the panels.
Then
up.
they would
Yeah.
then would they
The
go
veneer,
through the
yeah.
spreader. Then you turn them over and put
and
them
it
on
was
the
all
frames.
trimmed.
Then after the frames, we put them in the press. And press.
It was quite an operation, it was.
What'd you make an hour there? Here we
I can
go
do-
again.
50.
My check was
my first check.
$57 a week.
Mine was 50. He was higher paid than
Yeah,
that one.
$57.
And how many hours a week were you working?
40,
40-hour week.
40-hour weeks.
Did they have more than one shift?
They
They had more than
a
one
couple
shift. We always
shifts,
worked them.
yeah.
Well, at that time, I worked 2 jobs, so I was always on the daytime one.
And I only worked there.
Yeah. Because I worked at Ned on the island, but that was, oh yeah.
But it almost
$57
took
a week.
it almost took a man and a wife to.
But you want to
bring
know
enough
something?
money
We
in
lived
to
good.
Make it worth your while.
We lived good. I think we lived
But we lived
good.
on it. I mean,
The taxes were $39 a
Can
year
I get
to
up
do.
here a second?
yeah,
I
but you gotta
Walk here
remember
for a second if I
that,
can.
when we went into business, a glass of beer was only 10 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was for an 8-ounce glass, or
For it,
that
was
one of
the
these
big
little
one.
short- that wasn't for a shorty.
20 for a quarter, 10
2 bits
cents.
for a shorty.
50 cents for a beer. I remember selling a 6-pack of beer for $1.25.
I remember buying them for that. We got really mad at Rocky Island one time at Grace Nurse because she charged us $2.25 for a 6-pack.
Yeah.
We ran out of beer out there,
Yeah, but you were willing to pay it all trip.
but we never balked around her because she had told us to go get it someplace else and it wasn't available there.
It was fun growing up here. It really was. City Dock was not as big as it is, and then we used to dive off for pennies and nickels and dimes when we were kids, and it was a lot of fun. They'd have a grease pole during the festivals, and we stupid kids would go out there and try to get that $5. That was a lot of money.
You
had to
remember,
climb the grease pole.
Right, for
Did you
$5.
guys ever go fishing around town? You know, like remember all the perch that used to be
I
there?
never fished.
I never had, and once you
never
fished in
fished.
Lake Superior, you didn't need a license.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never fished. I never
Right
went to
here
fishing
off
pool.
of Booth Dock, there used to be some beautiful perch.
I remember sitting down there with Keith Keffer and Tweedy and Lester Lauber and that bunch, and we go down by where the hack noise was. We'd catch Bob Van Duzer be there, Mel Matson,
Tweety
Elmer
loved to fish.
Tweety
Her and
loved-
Jake
she
Lice loved to fish.
Yeah, and she'd bring all them perch home, and sometimes you're just
Filleted.
Yeah, she had the patience of a saint. You know?
Nobody could fry smelt like Tweety did.
And when she worked in the tavern,
Absolutely.
she came down on a Friday night, she'd bring all that perch. Oh, awesome.
That's what us kids caught them.
That was the good stuff.
But she'd fillet them.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people would fillet a perch?
She loved me to death, you know, because in the 70s there, when I was working on the lake with Morris Patan, we get smelt. And if we had a long run home or something, I'd cut the heads off and butterfly them for her. And so I used to bring her lunch pails of smelt, and you could have brought her gold bars and she'd have turned them down and taken
Yeah.
the smelt.
Right.
What was
She-
Tweety's real name?
Arlene
Arlene what?
Kepfer. She was a Wilson. Her maiden name was Wilson, but she was married to Jake Kepfer.
Uh-huh,
But
okay.
her first
And
name
Jake was a local.
And Tweety also worked for you in the bar, right?
she worked many years.
Yeah.
Right, well, when Tweety left us, she died about 3 months later.
What happened to her in there? Was she just getting wore out?
Well,
or-
she developed a large cyst on her breast.
She had breast cancer.
She had breast cancer, and it just,
that was it.
combination, I suppose. of
How old was
whatever.
she when she passed? She was quite a bit younger than Jake.
Tweety,
Would you estimate?
I don't think Tweety was
In the 50s, maybe.
early 60s.
Yeah.
Early 60s.
Well, she was the nicest lady.
She was.
They had that real fun laugh. And
She sure did.
Jake was our electrician.
He was our electrician. Tweety was our.
Knucklehead, he used to call me all the time.
She got the
Everybody.
the first education about muscatel wine. You know, came from Agnes Lee and Ann Parks. They were sisters, you know.
Okay.
Ann and Jack Lee's wife. And they used to come to the tavern quite often, and Mrs. Lee always drank muscatel, which was considered not a very good wine. The
Dowry gallant.
everybody, it was
The
a cheap
big old red in
wine
those days.
until one night I changed my tune real quick after the conversation with her. I even started serving her wine in a crystal glass.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
glass.
because she, in a wine glass, she made it very clear that muscatel wine was a first press, drank by the kings and queens of
And
Europe.
it's also considered a dessert
And it's
wine.
also a high-class dessert wine. Well, how it ever got to Bayfield and considered for a buck a gallon, I don't know. So all these guys, you know, like, that were drinking it, they were drinking top shelf.
Yeah, Hyra,
Yeah, they were all drinking top shelf.
yeah, Chicken Gordon.
Yeah, and here they
AC
were.
Hugo,
AC Doocy.
They were drinking the best that, you know, oh yeah,
Hiram.
the
Yeah.
king. And I thought, oh, that's enough of that. She's going to get this wine in a good glass, and she did.
What was their maiden name? Do you know, remember that?
I can't.
They're Bayfield girls, and Jack Lee was not from the area. He was a,
What was
Powers, wasn't it?
what?
Wasn't it Powers?
Palmer?
Powers.
Powers. I don't know.
I'm not so sure. I'll have
I
to ask
don't know.
Dad.
Ask your dad then.
Yeah,
I
he
bet
might
you he
know
would
that.
know. See, but now you put a question in my mind. Now I have to find out. No, but they were two fine old gals. They really were.
Yeah, I don't know if they were like Sunquist or Turn. They're in that Quist
Yeah,
type of family.
Okay, well, that could be.
Surequist, no? Remember the Shoquist in town? And
Well, you're
Yes,
you're
right.
hitting on all old Bayfield names here.
Okay. Up on the hill, remember those 4 houses? They all look alike,
Right across the street from.
right up there.
the old booth houses?
Yeah.
Right, I think they came from one of those houses.
That could be. We know the Wicksteins lived there,
All right.
and I want to say the Sunquists were up in there.
Well, it could very well. You probably struck right on one of their last names right there, but
Yeah, they're Bayfield girls.
but I don't think I ever
See
ever
Jack
heard
Lee
of.
with the big handlebars.
Yeah, old Jack.
He was the first probably Jewish businessman in Bayfield. No, I'll take that back. In the 1850s, there were Jewish people here, and the Goldfines family got their start in Bayfield.
Goldfine. Duluth Goldfine?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they own the Ryder building in Bayfield, which was originally built, that's where the hardware store is. Randall Ryder's parents are Maurice Ryder, they sold out, they were German, they left
Okay.
town.
Okay.
And then the Goldfines came in, and they bought that, and then they worked here all that long. This is 1917, the year that my father was born.
I remember when Jack Lee owned where the you call it Drakenberg.
Drakenbergs.
I remember when Jack Lee had some kind of business there.
This is before he went uptown.
Right, where the
Well, where
post
the
office is.
Post office.
I remember
is.
that, all those buildings in there.
Well, there was
Yeah,
a
there were a lot of buildings in there.
there was a Drakenberg tailor shop.
And there's where Walter Matson's dad cut hair in there too.
Yes, and then
There's a
right
barber shop there.
next, right was there 3 places there on that lot or 4?
Well, yeah, I think there was 4. There
4.
was one on the
When
corner.
you're talking about below Bates,
yeah.
uh-huh.
Was there 3 or 4?
I think that whole block was loaded full at one time. It
Yeah.
all burned out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Far-
were
The
down.
farthest one down the corner was the First and Last Chance Hotel.
Yeah.
next to
The
Bates.
bar.
Well,
That-
you
that
what
was a
used to be
restaurant.
at one time the where they clean clothes,
Yeah, they had dry cleaners down
dry
there, too.
cleaners. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And I forget their names now. There was a
Yeah.
Ling Li type of
Yeah.
a Chinese guy in Bayfield one
Yeah.
time that had a dry cleaning shop.
Yeah.
And then there was Walter Matson.
And then there was I don't know if there was another dry cleaning shop, Bob, or if this was later when Hilda came, Hilda Reynolds.
Oh,
That
Yeah.
building, that was a dry
That was
cleaner.
Jeannie Walks.
That was-
Jeannie
Jeannie
was one of the
Walks
later
was
ones that was
at,
in there, but that was a dry cleaning.
Yeah, that's a little bit later, yeah.
That was later in life.
Kuntz.
But they had right here next to where this building is, where the old Island View used to be.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have all those operations right within the Island View.
Everything was inside that
A
building.
lot of they had pool halls
Across
in
the
there and
street from
everything.
the
Yeah,
depot.
I've got
Across the-
pictures.
Across the street from the depot where.
Say that again?
Where the chamber is now, used to be the laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just up there, Halber Wrighton was next door,
Right.
and he had a gas station there. He had and a motor parts store.
That I don't remember.
That's a little bit before your time, but I've got
Yeah.
photos of that.
And then of course across the street was the train station.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
The old Omaha Depot.
yeah. run by old Francis Ryan.
And
I got,
across the street from there
The
was the old
building.
Melody store.
The
I
Melody
have,
building.
I have the Francis Ryan's lamps downstairs
Do you really?
with the green, two of them, with the green, you know,
Switch lamps there?
switch lamps. I got two of them. I should take
Green and
them.
red?
Yep,
Yeah, they're,
they came from that depot down there.
I got photos of that place down there when they used to have the passenger cars come to Bayfield.
We used to get a
They
whole
were
nickel for
beautiful.
delivering
Oh,
telegrams.
Oh, what?
A whole nickel for
Oh,
delivering
I thought you
telegrams.
said pickles.
Yeah.
Nickels, yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
So the
Western
telegram
Union.
would come
Western
in,
Union,
would come
yeah.
into the depot.
Would
Yeah,
come to the
yeah.
depot,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was old Tom Gary used to work there. That would have been Chester Gary's.
Cheer, Grandpa,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how the Gary family came to Bayfield.
They
was-
lived right across the street here.
Yeah.
The Gary house is right
Well,
over
that's his son that lived there. But I
Yeah.
got a photo of the old
there. Let me see
guy.
now, who's in
They're
that
all
house?
railroad men.
Yeah, they
Come on
were,
a schooner.
yeah. Didn't he work in Superior too?
He probably worked everywhere.
Yeah,
That was Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Omaha.
she's still living,
Is she?
yeah. Mrs. Gary, Mary Lou,
Yeah.
yeah, she's still living.
The guy I'm talking about is her father.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
father-in-law,
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
child had 15.
And
Yeah.
the Ryan family was Connie Ryan's
Connie.
father was kind of ran the whole
Yeah,
station.
he
Yeah.
ran it.
that's who my Uncle Leonard married, his
Yeah.
daughter,
Yeah, Connie.
Connie Hebert, or Connie Ryan,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when did they tear the depot down?
Let me
In my
think.
life.
Was that when DeLugie burnt the house down?
Dick DeLugie,
Yeah.
No, that's across the street.
that was across the street, but he started a fire there.
He started the fire, yeah.
I think,
That's the old First and Last Chance Hotel.
Yeah.
At that point in time, this guy by the name of Christensen, didn't that?
when,
What was his Christensen's name? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but you
was
asked
a
when,
mechanic.
when
Well,
did,
that's when they tore
tore
the
down.
depot down.
they it had to have been 50, middle 50s.
I remember walking in there.
Okay, middle
I
50s.
remember going in there.
It was gone before I graduated from high school, so it had to be between 55 and late 50s. They
Yeah.
took it out.
And there was no move to keep them from tearing it down? It was just,
Well, yeah, you know, there
Well,
was a
that's
lot
when they
of
tore all the tracks out
there
of
was
here.
a lot of disappointed people.
That was in the 70s when they tore the tracks
they
out,
tore
probably
all the
76,
tracks out.
78.
so by that time, the passenger service had quit
It
then,
had quit.
but they were still hauling freight in.
They were still hauling freight in.
Yeah.
You know, after Allwood left,
Which was in the early 70s.
early 70s, that was basically the end of the railroad here.
Yeah, the only thing they used it for at that point in time was to transport pulp out of here.
Pulp, yeah.
Well, there was some of that went on, but after that, it was owned by the Wisconsin Central.
Do you remember when in the fall, when they would they would haul in the coal?
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
my God, that was a mess.
Yeah,
and
Donnie
then it would-
Buchanan would shovel out a whole
Shovel
car.
a whole carload. I don't know how they did it. That poor man was just black. Just
They
cold.
shovel it into a truck or?
Yeah, and then they would bring it up here to what's the name of that candy shop?
Yeah,
The
Sweet
coal
Sailing.
Sweet Sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was put in the back end of the Sweet Sailing.
I remember when McCarty had an
Yeah.
Alphabet Hanson too. He was in
Yeah.
on that.
Well,
That's
also there was a coal shed where our,
By the depot down there.
right, yeah,
Bill always makes
Bill
remark
McCarty
about
used to unload there.
that's who owned the coal shed,
Mm-hmm.
McCarty's.
Bill always makes remark about the winters in Bayfield and the cold here.
After the first
After the
beautiful
first snow,
white,
beautiful white. By morning, everything was black
black.
because everybody was
Everybody
burning.
burnt coal.
So from the smoke.
Sure. Soot. Oh God.
It's
soot.
Well, right next door here,
God.
we had a coal bin there, and that's what you did. Dad would have to down every night, throw coal in there, and the next morning he'd be up about 3:30 in the morning trying to heat
Sure.
the joint.
Oh my God. I can still see
Big
my,
chunks like this too, John.
Oh yeah, I can still see that little wood stove we had in the basement to heat water, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Heat the hot water tank.
yeah.
I don't know how the houses didn't burn right to the ground,
They
really.
did in the old days.
Really. I don't know how they didn't just burn
The
up.
wood stoves.
Wood stoves in the kitchens, big wood furnaces in the basement.
In the
and-
early days, they had the Wing Hook and Ladder Company here. That was the early predecessor to the Bayfield Fire
Fire
Department.
Department?
By the time they got to a building drawn by a horse and the
Oh,
old
that
fro-
must have been a
Well,
performance.
Sayonara building.
That must have been a
Well,
performance.
like the old courthouse used to, you know where the Omaha Rail Depot was? That's where the old first Bayfield courthouse in Bayfield County was, right there.
Okay,
And in the township we were a town of Bayfield in those days, and that's where the courthouse was.
okay.
Right, that burned down in 1883 and 1884.
Is that when they
is
moved
when
into
they-
Washburn? Is
Yeah.
that when Washburn
Well,
stole it
they
from us?
built this courthouse up here, and shortly thereafter, they had this great election,
Yeah.
which was rigged.
Rigged is
And they
rigged.
came at night and stole everything. Read that in Eleanor's book.
Yeah,
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
but
so-
you know,
But
you
the-
talk about having it tough. You know, we're really spoiled. I mean, you just said that your dad had to go down at 3 o'clock in the morning and stoke the furnace and to heat the house up. What would kids do today? All we got to do now is turn around and touch a thing on the wall, and here comes the heat. So I guess we're basically kind of spoiled too.
Absolutely.
You know, we didn't have, our parents seen to it that we didn't have to go through what they went through, part of what they went through, but not,
when I
not
was
the
a
whole thing.
teenager, I still remember stocking the stove and calling water and.
Well, when Sister Phyllis first came here and started to run the Catholic
That's
school
right,
up
there
here.
was no water up there.
No, and she had to fire that furnace in
Yeah.
that school.
Yeah, there was no water there neither, if I remember right. They put that water in down below after.
Now that I've mentioned Sister Phyllis, I have to pass on the news. Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Sister Phyllis has been now elected by the bishop the victor of nuns.
Really?
You do not go any higher in the Catholic Church than
Isn't
that.
that something?
Isn't that wonderful?
She pretty proud of it.
Yeah,
When's she coming down again?
I don't know. She's over in Ashland right now at Lady of the Lake and running St. Mary's in Odana, but the bishop appointed her victor of nuns, and I tell you what, she is the boss now.
Was that what you call Mother Superior?
She's
No,
even
Mother
she's
Superior
even ahead of
is one that take care of
the nuns.
the home.
She's
the home, like-
she's even ahead of Mother Superior.
Okay, so she would run the Mother Superiors.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it to you this way: if something happened that would require a nun going to see the Pope, Sister Phyllis would be the one to do it.
No,
She's the one that would go to the
Make your-
Vatican.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's.
Do you know when she first came here?
Oh yes, oh yes, I sure do. She came here. She was here 38 years when she left, and she left here two and a half. Well, when did we have the party for her out in Redcliffe? For her and Sister Grace Ann.
You know, I
It
remember
hasn't
that
been that
dates.
long.
4 years ago. Well,
3 years, about 3 years.
how long has Sister Grace been here? 3 years?
Yeah, something like that.
She rented this house
Okay, it's 2
downstairs.
years ago then.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. So
So she was here, that's 34 years. She was, she's been 38 before that.
yeah,
You're talking in the 70s.
in the 70s she's been here.
Oh yeah,
This, if you ever,
she was a young nun.
her
She got here.
homeland was Ohio, but she considered Bayfield her home.
For
And
adopted home.
yeah, and I think maybe she's going to come back here.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Will
now,
she go to
now?
the?
Now I think she'll come
The
back.
Franciscans have a home that my wife's sister used to work at the Twin Cities. Is that where she'll probably spend her last days in that Franciscan home, or
No, not there. She wouldn't go
or
there.
Illinois?
No, she would go back, if any place, she would go back to the mother house at Joliet, which is not the mother house anymore.
They don't have a mother.
They
house.
don't have a mother house, but they have a facility that still handles retired nuns. But there again, things have changed so much in the church that I am sure that she would probably go wherever she wanted to go
Sure.
for the remainder of her life.
But that's what they did there in this one spot. It was a beautiful home too.
Now Grace Ann, that's Bill's aunt, cousin. She rented the downstairs home for a year and a half with another nun that was here, and she passed away. Well, see, the mother house took care of all the expenses.
Okay.
And when she left downstairs here, the house was just too big. You know, there's 3 bedrooms downstairs here.
What she need that for?
And she didn't need that, and so she's up in a little smaller. But Grace Ann is now 81,
I guess.
81, pretty close to
Tell
that.
you a nice little story. You know that big rug that's hooked at the Bayfield Heritage?
Okay.
That was built by Sister Grace Ann's mother.
Oh, really?
There's a little bit of history.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm going through Gardner Haslam's photos.
Really?
Here's a picture of her mother in there with a nun that I'm not aware of who it might be.
I
Okay.
remember Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte. But you know, see, Grace Ann can live here now, retired. She's still kind of
Mother's-
active in the
mother-
churches.
My mother's aunt.
But
You
she,
know how I know who booked that rug? Grace Ann told us that
Okay.
she was at an event at BHA.
okay.
Well, I remember when the nunnery was.
No, about
they
the rug
had
bill.
a nunnery up
The
here.
rug.
Right across the street.
And where the school is,
Yeah.
there used to be a gym right there. And we used to play there.
Right where all the people that own the gas station and
There
record.
used to be a hospital there in
Yeah.
the old days. Did you know that?
That
never
don't
knew it.
remember.
I never
I
knew it to be a
remember when they
hospital.
Well,
when
this
they
was in the
ruled girls.
1880s. There was a hospital there. Didn't last long.
But you know, rules and regulations as far as the churches anymore are concerned,
That was a big place over there.
they're changed.
really
They've
big.
changed so much.
Are you guys pretty much tried and true Catholics then, and been in that faith since you were a little kid, right, Len?
Well, yeah, my ma was Catholic, and us kids were raised Catholic. You know, that was kind of funny because my dad came from a family that was Seventh-day Advent. Well, he never followed that either, and he never followed the Catholic religion either. But in one of his tapes, earlier tapes that I don't know if you
Yeah, I did.
It had to be.
if you did it, John. In one of his earlier tapes, he was asked by somebody what religion he was. And he kind of sat back or what church he belonged to. And he kind of sat back and didn't answer. I thought, oh, this is going to be cute. What is he going to say? Finally, he just kind of shrugged his shoulders. He said, I belong to all the churches. Do you remember that maybe?
I don't remember it, no.
Okay, but that was his answer.
Shirley was Jewish, and he married her. Your mother was Catholic, he married Jewish, and Lord knows what Millie was.
Well, he just wanted a variety of everything.
Yeah. You want to experience all the religions.
Yeah, but anyway, that was his answer. But after I thought about that, Bob, after I thought about that, why did he answer that way? I belong to all of them, he said. Well, this is the answer I came up with. Of course, because Ma was Catholic, he was a great donator to this church, to the Catholic Church. The roof that blew off that church, Ed put on. He supported Sister Phyllis immensely with the school and the kids. And after I thought about it, almost every single church in Bayfield, he either took down or put back up all their steeples and their bells and of course all that stuff.
Major donations.
And that was all donated to those churches. I know he did more for the Catholic Church than he did for the rest of them. So after I thought about it, that was a very appropriate answer for him.
I don't attend, but I belong.
And I think that's the way he looked at it.
And
Except
that's a
you know
good way to
those,
look at it.
and except you know those Swedes over there, he could never figure that out. During the elections, they never carried him, even though he built their church.
We have pretty good support from a lot of them.
Well, he
They
wanted
turned
that.
on him. The Catholics are more. Catholics are more in the pocket there.
Well, you know,
One Watchbeth one.
the night before he lost the election to Larry McDonald, which is also a cousin, you know, not of his, mine. I was down here and I said, well, how's it going to go? He said, I'm not going to win this election. And I said, well, Dad, why not? He said, I'm just not going to win it. He said, I can't win it. And I said, well, why? Why can't you win it? He said, because all my votes are up in the cemetery. That was his answer, and he lost the election.
No, there's a lot of truth in that. You build a new, everybody comes to town as different followers.
Yeah.
And you see this in the school board too.
Does it happen there too,
Well,
Bob?
sure, it'll happen to me. I mean, you're in this business only so long because, you get 51% of the vote. Before you know it, you've pissed everybody in the community off.
Oh, sure, by all means,
Well, I mean, that's the way it really works. And
That's
before
it,
you know it,
yeah.
all your political capital is gone.
Gone.
And so now you're down to 40%, and
That's it.
the only way you can win them is if you slip by and when nobody votes or something, you get 100 of your people in there.
Yeah,
Just like he said one day, he said, we got a picture on the wall downstairs of when we were in the tavern, and we take a look at it, and 80% of them are dead.
they're all dead.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. That's just the way the times are.
Bob Jensen.
But, Bob,
the whole-
I had them down the basement. They seen the picture that you're talking about. But they, I guess that's life. But that was Ed's answer that night. I'm not gonna win this because my votes are up in the cemetery.
And yeah, he lost a lot of his old support.
And there went,
Didn't Ed win an election
on a flip of a
on the
coin.
flip of a coin?
Sure did, right in the courthouse in Washburn.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. He told the story in one of the
Yeah.
previous tapes. But
Was
And
that
he-
Hackworth? Or?
Yeah, and he said that he, his flipping power or whatever he referred to it as was never very good. Evidently, he had done this before.
Never got lucky.
And never got lucky, but that day, when they flipped the coin,
yeah.
there was 2 or
Yes.
3 recalls on that election, just for the count. All the time, it came up the same, and
Tie.
they tied, and he
Who was that against? Was that Hackworth? or-
Hathbarth, yeah. They flipped it, and Ed won it, and I don't know.
Was there sour grapes with Hackworth? Or?
Oh, how would you feel?
Well,
Yeah,
a lot of those guys, they go in there with the wrong purpose. It's kind of like a power trip for them, and they don't realize that you're there to serve the people.
well, there's in any election when
Yeah.
you run, like you just said, are you running just so you can get a big head,
Yeah.
or are you actually running so you can help the people?
And a lot of people are in there when they get miffed and they lose. It's because they're really there for their own ego.
Yeah, see,
And
do you have the interest of your community at heart, or do you want this just for yourself?
Yeah.
I would like to think that our mayor thinks more of the community than he does for himself. Cousin or no cousin, I could argue quite a few points with him.
Sure.
But nevertheless, he's the mayor.
It's kind of interesting when you go in there with a platform like a school board. First thing I said is this: is that every vote I take will be in the interest of the kid.
Yeah,
I'm going to get a lot of pressure from you guys from taxes. I'm going to get a lot of pressure from the union for wages.
Sure.
I'm going to get pressures everywhere. But every vote you take is on behalf of which is the best for the kids.
because isn't that why you were elected and why
Yeah.
you're sitting there?
Yeah,
That's the whole
And
reason.
you got to balance the other stuff. Oh, sure,
Yeah.
I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
But but a lot of people are in there because
And maybe a lot of that, Bob, in an election is lost. It's lost.
well, you see it at the national level, never be
Yeah,
there.
well, you make decisions because they're hard. That's why you're there.
Sometimes
That's
you
why
have to
I'm not there.
make the hard
Yeah.
ones.
I gather you two never chose to run for office?
Well,
Or what?
it wasn't.
You were in the chamber and stuff, though. weren't you?
It wasn't Bill so much. I almost did.
And he wanted me to get on tribal council.
And Bill
Out
would
of
have been
Reckless.
and Bill would have been good
And I
with our
said,
tribal council. Got a level head.
why should I run? I said, I might win.
Yeah. Get real unlucky and win.
I almost
I ain't well
considered.
liked out there anyway.
I kidded Rocky one time, and he's basically married to my niece.
Right.
Okay,
Rocky.
Tribovich. He is the chairman in the town of
He still
Bayfield.
is.
I know that.
On wrestling.
Anyway, I kidded him one time, and I said, election's coming, and I said, you might have a little opposition this time. Well, who is that going to be? He said. I said, me. And I think I could beat you. Well, he said, how are you going to do that? I said, well, Bill's family will put me there if you don't. And we know everybody in Reckless. Reckless will put me there.
They would have too.
And he kind of sat back, and I know that he kind of waited to see if I was gonna do it. Because I honestly think I could have beat them.
Not only that, we ran the Snowflake Festival for how many years?
Our connections
And then
with
all the elderly that we
all the
knew
connections that
If
we
you can get
had.
them out to
in-
vote, you'd have won.
Yeah,
Right.
Rocky
True.
says the big problem out in Redcliffe is they don't vote.
yeah, they don't vote.
You'd have had, if you could have got, a lot of the native people out
Yeah.
to vote, you'd have won hands down.
And I think I made him a little bit nervous that time that I was gonna run against him, but
Well, when,
I decided not to.
when they had people running against them, they'd come looking for us because we know
You
quite
could
a,
swing a
quite
block
a
of
few,
people, you could
quite
swing
a
a
few
block of
people.
votes.
out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, we could have put him out, but I thought, well,
But
Man,
just
I
like,
even- I
just
think
like they're dying off.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
that,
don't know that younger generation so well because you're beyond them.
Yeah,
That's
well, we have
There's a whole new group of people. in
like I
Redcliffe.
say now, we are the elders. I don't believe I said that, but I guess we are.
But
I know you are one of the elders.
We didn't say ancients.
No, but look, when it comes to politics, I think even on the national level, any level,
Well,
the administration that's running the country now, fine, let them run it, but they'll never make any headway, never. And that's really a shame because they're too busy butting heads and they can't.
don't
Everybody
work.
wants to be the boss, nobody wants to work.
Well, they can't work together to problem solve. The first thing you want to do is fight.
Fight right off the bat.
And, it's a lose-lose for the nation.
Yeah,
if you can't do it my way, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna really,
Yeah, that's right.
and I'll spear you, is what they do.
and then,
You mentioned the Snowflake Festival. I
Yes.
don't think we've talked about that before, have we? Did we, Bobby?
No, we haven't, no. Tell us a little bit about the origins of that.
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you, we started the Snowflake Festival back in 1985. We started it right in our front yard. Christmas has always been extremely important to me, and I even know where that started. So, in all the years that we were in the tavern business and Christmas would come, Bill had card players, Governor Olson, all them elders that would come in. He'd cook dinner for them.
Bob Sullier.
Yeah, and he'd cook dinner. They play cribbage, because they didn't have any families. They were basically all on their own. And we started with the elders, and it was good.
Talking Christmas dinner.
Yeah, we start. Well, that's why we never had any money.
We had
We were-
two or
we
three
were-
at the Rebecca Hall.
Yeah.
We would do the dinners.
Yeah,
And then we had no money, so we we went to the tribe.
Yeah.
And the tribe gave us a tax-free status.
data stamp, and we started to raise money. Thanksgiving time, I remember two
the-
Thanksgivings we did the dinners at,
The first Snowflake Festival
wasn't at
was
the house.
between Larry's house and our house.
Yeah,
On the Sand Bay Road.
Out
on
of
the Sand
Sand
Bay
Bay.
Road.
We expected 100, maybe 125 people. 400
We had over 400
showed
people
up.
that night that came.
Oh,
And I
Walk-
said, we can't
walking
do
through
that.
the house. Oh,
And
We can't do this out here.
You were gonna feed them all?
Yeah,
We
we did
did
feed
feed
them.
You did?
We did
Sure.
feed them.
How?
cookies. We had cookies.
Gallons and gallons of hot chocolate and cookies,
Coffee,
coffee,
cider.
cakes, apple cider, anything we could
yeah,
get our
run the
hands
town about
on.
4 times to get stuff or what?
Anything we
No,
could get our hands on.
I made it. I would start baking. Well, even to this day, I make 9 or 10 different kinds of cookies, and
Okay.
we don't eat them. We give them away because
Yeah. See how you do with all them?
But then what we did here, now let me finish this out about the fruit baskets.
okay. Go on.
We started with the elders. That was the whole thing, starting with the elders. We did fruit baskets. We lined them up outside. Everybody, that night we ran out because we had such a crowd, we didn't expect that many. So, and I said to him after that was over with, I said, if we're gonna continue this, number one, we can't have it here. We gotta move away from here. So we moved our first year to Redcliffe. We used the bingo hall.
And Peterson.
And Peterson's store provided all of the fruit. The orchards gave us the apples. Viola Betzel, she was
Okay.
just a sweetheart. She was my 5th grade school teacher, you know.
Okay, I know
Oh,
she
yeah,
taught there.
yeah.
Now, does this take place just before Christmas? or
It was
when?
about a week before,
Before.
week before Christmas. And every year it got bigger, then all of a sudden we were including the kids into this, then we were getting prince and princesses to our festival, which one of them just graduated now from the University of Minnesota, Gary Connell and Chris's son.
Oh,
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan, he received Snowflake Festival scholarships that we provided as the years went on. And to nip it in the bud, the last year that we did it, the Snowflake Festival, we had, by that year, the 14 years, had given out to all the nursing homes, the elders in Washburn, the elders in Madeline Island, the elders in Bayfield, the elders on Town of Bayfield.
Madeline
17,
Island.
little better than 17,000 fruit baskets. Our last order that
Whoa.
came was a 18-wheeler that backed up to the bingo hall and unloaded our fruit, and it was stacked to the ceiling. But you know, then I got sick. I had a heart attack. I had to have open heart surgery. The fundraising kind of came to the stop, but you know,
screeching halt, that's.
screeching halt.
Had to.
And it's all the work that we put into that festival. The breakfasts, we fed them at the pier. Every restaurant that would take elders, we paid for it. See, the whole weekend was designed that you could go to it and it did not cost you a penny. It was our job through the year to raise the money. All of the food was free. We had people that would come from Ironwood,
Never turned them down?
never turned them down. Bill and Deb were running the food stand out at the Sand Bay Beach. And this guy came in with 5 or 6 kids. Had their hot dogs and their cookies or whatever, chili, whatever we had to offer. Hot chocolate, and he wanted to pay for it. And Bill told him, he said, no, you don't pay for anything here. He never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
That was our part of that festival.
He said, do you take donations? And I said, yes, we do,
We do,
but not this weekend.
not this weekend. But you know,
Oh, I get it, okay.
it got so big that Egan Chevrolet was still in business. They were sending us brand new Cadillacs,
Oh,
mind you. They sent us a whole fleet of vans with drivers to deliver our fruit baskets to the nursing homes. And then we would try to follow behind them and go get the singers were with us.
Mr. and
and
Mrs. Claus.
Mr. and Mrs. Claus were with us. Well, you get in one nursing home, you'd be there till midnight.
Was that when Mr. Stroot was around?
Yes, Don Stroot. There was a picture of Don on the front page of the Ashland Daily Press dressed as
He
Mr.
looked like one of them wooden soldiers.
That's it.
Yes,
And
and
that
all-
was taken in our front yard.
Okay.
Also, he was, that Barney.
Barney. But anyway, we tried,
Oh, okay.
when I got sick, and that year went by, see, it wasn't only that. We took on the festival that year. We took on the tree that went to Madison. All those ornaments were that, for me, I never used this word, but I'll use it now. That year was a very stressful year for me. You know, we were dealing with the governor's office. We had been accepted one of 17. It was the millennium year. You know, we had to keep everything going on this end.
Irons in the fire.
It was really irons in the
After
fire.
they dedicated the tree, we had to come home and have the snowflake.
Yeah, we
Go
got,
back to back.
we got off the bus and we went right to
You
work.
didn't get a good night's rest, and you're
No.
off doing something different.
And I said, we tried so hard to see that festival, Bob, belonged with younger people, younger families. That's the way we designed it. We designed it for the young. And we tried our best to try to find some younger families that would have taken it on. I said, we'll sit and advise you how to do it and what we did.
How to raise money.
But you see, That was the whole crux right there. They would have had to work to raise the money
They
to
had
do
to,
what.
and they didn't wanna do
And
the
they
work.
didn't wanna work.
Does that sound like the rest of the world around you now?
See, so with
So,
that,
so what year was the last?
the last year was the millennium,
2000.
2000. When we took the tree to Madison, we came home and we did the Christmas thing. I didn't feel good all winter, and in July I had my heart attack, and that was the
The
end
heart
of it.
attack was kind of building up.
Yeah, that was the end of it, and we were halfway through. But I seen to it that we never spent all the money.
You had a little starter fund for the next
I
year.
always had a starter fund.
But you gotta do that.
And when we got done, when we couldn't, there was quite a few bucks in the bank yet, we offered $500 scholarships to the high school for 5 years, 2 of them. That was all snowflake money,
Of which Ryan got one.
which Ryan
Ryan
Connell
got some.
got one,
There was one of the old princesses got one. Somebody from, Settlement got one.
Washburn got them.
Washburn got one.
And when we went then with.
It wasn't meant for the top go-getters.
No.
It was meant for the
It
rest.
was somebody that went to WITC or wherever they wanted to go. It was $500 to start.
I never asked, we never asked to see their grade point. I wasn't interested in that.
Yeah.
We weren't interested.
'Cause
But Ryan
The
would,
top scholars always,
Yeah.
they get all the scholarship. Well, the middle people need some money too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you
So
know
that's
what
what
we
we thought.
You
did
gotta
there?
usually give a patty shot at
Yeah.
it. and-
Yeah, we brought Ryan back. He was 8 years old when he was our prince to our festival.
Oh.
And when, in 2000, he was 16, we brought him back. He spoke at the Rotunda in Madison in behalf of the Snowflake Festival.
Interesting.
And now, he went on to college. He got one of the Snowflake Festival scholarships, and this past December, he graduated from the University of Minnesota.
And he's getting his master's
And now he's going
Now
after
he's going
his.
for his masters.
Yeah.
He's no dummy, Will.
No, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, good kid.
And
He's
then-
loved now.
Yeah, I have to,
Well,
so
what a
that
great-
was so
what
much.
a great thing you guys did.
Yeah, and we designed it, and the better part of this is, we could bring the Snowflake Festival back this quick, if you could get, but then
You need some energy, you need some feet, you need some
You
soldiers.
Yeah.
gotta have people to work on.
you have to
Yeah.
have people to work. But then the organizations started to kick in. Mary Rice was a great contributor. It got, our last fruit order was around $7,000. You only have, and then to say nothing about all the food.
And we had to deliver it.
And then we had to deliver
Gas monies,
gas monies, and it was just,
it all adds up.
it was all,
It sounded like it became almost too much to handle.
yeah. But
Bigger than you could handle.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been if we could have got more people involved, but
Yeah.
damn it, they just didn't want
When
to.
you want them to rally to help you, they're not there.
And it wasn't for Bill and I, it was for their own families and their own kids.
Yeah, yeah.
But we ended up babysitting lots of times too.
We babysat kids.
We
I
had
mean,
karaoke.
we added fireworks displays to our festival.
Babysitting.
The first time I ordered fireworks from Arrowhead Fireworks in Duluth, they said, you want it for what?
I think it was $1,000 for the first time.
Yeah, but they said, we have never put a fireworks display together in the winter. I said, I don't want a display, I just want, you guys must have stuff that's left over from
Something that
home.
blows up.
Yeah, and they put something together, Richard was still alive, and we had that out in Sand Bay. And that fireworks display against that snow that night was just absolutely beautiful.
Working so bad.
Just beautiful. So,
Especially if we do that now, you get 20 years in the jail from the
I think it was
national
a-
park.
yeah,
It was the most beautiful display I've ever seen.
yeah.
Really?
Oh,
It was
against
just
the snow background.
It was
Oh,
just
gorgeous.
absolutely fantastic. I was just sick when it was over, that we couldn't continue.
Just do
But
that for
when
the
you
heck of
talk
it.
about the good things about living here, and having a business here is like we did all these years. And I don't know how Bill feels about this, but my high point in Bayfield, seeing that we lived in Sand Bay, was 206. when Bill and I were selected as Grand Marshals to the Apple Festival Parade.
Okay, so you got
And,
chamber acknowledgement.
yeah, and I thought, well, now, I don't think you're gonna look for too much more beyond this. You
No,
know,
we're getting-
outside of moving.
We're getting too old now.
But I mean, outside of moving back here now and being able to enjoy the town and the city.
How's your health, Len? Pretty decent?
Good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Are you on the mend after all,
Oh yeah, it just,
I see no more smoking and,
well, you know, listen, I'll tell you, talking about the smoking, Bob. Good God knows, if I can quit smoking, the whole world could quit. Trust me, trust me. Oh, it was just a year ago, the 9th of February, that I quit. I don't believe I did that, but I did it.
it's kind of funny how you realize you didn't really need it after all. There's a stressful period of time you go through, but
Yeah.
Well, we needed it.
Yeah,
yeah,
but I don't know.
it's your health versus the
Yeah,
alternative.
that's it. No, but as far as health, that one there, he runs up and down the hill like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah, yeah. He's always good.
I hope we got a few more years left. Maybe I'll get involved in something in Bayfield. Who knows?
Yeah.
We've only been here 5 months.
You're still
the
young, Lenny.
We got
Yeah,
the
we've only been
cemetery
here.
now.
Oh
We got
yeah,
a family reunion coming up.
Gosh, you're really involved.
we started that drive, you know, for the cemetery.
How's that coming, Len?
It's coming along beautifully. The bank is receiving our money. Anybody that wants to donate money to help our cause along a little bit. Our goals is to clean it, of course, redo the monument. Rita Vandevanner is going to redo the cross on the Catholic side. A good cleaning, a good raking, good clipping. We've got some of those, what do you call them?
We got
Steam
volunteers coming.
machine? Steam machine?
Steam cleaners?
No.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Pressure washers.
Oh, yeah.
We got 3 of those donated. So we're gonna go through the cemetery and clean the stones.
Are you getting any volunteers for that, or you gotta do it all yourself?
Well,
That's
just,
the next thing. See?
but
well,
here,
we
just tomorrow morning, I've got a coffee engagement with the Lions Club, Dick Compton from the Legion, Vern Vogt,
From down around Salmo.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the Lions Club guy.
that's the Lions Club. And then our group, we've got about 17 on our group here. So we've already gone.
So you got some worker bees. It sounds like
Yeah.
you got a couple of machines to clean up.
Yeah, we're gonna
Some
try
money
to,
for
got a few
probably
bucks in
fresh
the
truck
bank
or
and-
something.
Well, what I'm looking for, if we get enough money, I want a new weed eater with one of those round blades.
those,
Brush auxiliary
Right.
brush thing.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of stuff on the Catholic side that has to be cut.
see. And I'm not gonna even begin to get into it because it already got into it, but I kinda set the men straight a little bit. This church and state thing. Bill's family is buried in the Catholic cemetery. I have family in the Catholic cemetery. I have family all over it.
Yeah.
In all 3 cemeteries.
Sure.
So what the church and state does about it, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I will guarantee you one thing, all 3 of those cemeteries will look decent at Memorial Day.
But we all got them on both sides, you
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, but I got myself kind of in the mess with this, with the church and the city, over that church and state deal, and I don't.
Well, it's the perpetual care on the one side there, perpetual care on all sides.
Yeah.
And there isn't perpetual care, it's only half perpetual.
And
you
I
know?
can't see any care anywhere,
Yeah, well, there you are.
and that's part of our reason for, we'll clean it up and fix it, and
We'll get it done.
we'll get it done. We'll be ready by Memorial Day. I have a full schedule back there, if you'd like to take one with you. You know, there'll be a lot of people that'll be volunteering. That,
Yeah.
you know, and
Bill, could you get back in?
my biggest,
You escaped for a moment, I know, but
my biggest reason there, Bob, is our heritage is in that cemetery.
Sure.
You know, that's where our people are, and most likely, that's where we'll be.
Yeah, that's your plan.
That's it.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, I don't know where you're going, but,
well, we
Good
have I've got about 10 minutes or so left on this card.
okay.
And one thing that I wanted to ask you, if you're willing to talk about, is when did you guys get together? How long have you been together?
I can answer that real quick. You see that over there? That micro, that telescope,
Yeah,
that in February 28th or 29th represents 41 years.
41 years.
41 years.
So let's go back, it's,
2009, 75?
72,
72,
72.
72 or
1972.
73, something like
But
that.
you had known each other before then,
All our lives.
all your lives, right, from what we've been talking about.
All our
Well,
lives.
Bill went on to the service for,
So this is when you came back from the
This
service.
is after I came back, yes.
Right.
I went in the service in 1960,
Right,
and I didn't get, well, off and on I came home. And when he, after he bought the tavern, he said, "Do you want to get in?" I said, "No."
I want no part of the tavern.
But I was home on leave, and he had a high school reunion.
reunion, yeah.
He said,
10 years.
Will you help me out?
It was
and
10 years. That was my
and,
10th year.
Work it. So I worked that weekend, and then
It
when I
was a
went
good
back
year.
in the service, I said, "That's it, I'm done." So then I came back home, and we've been together ever since.
Yeah.
well, and you're really a rarity in this town, right? And what,
I really don't know what you mean when you say
a
that.
rarity is two men
Okay,
living together,
okay.
Well,
and it must not have been easy in the early days, huh?
Well, you know, I'm kind of glad that you mentioned that. Get some coffee. Would you say you had 10 minutes or 10 weeks?
I know, I'm sorry we come say
Okay.
this to the
Uh,
end,
Bill and I have always been extremely independent. We were independent with our families. I only had one person in my whole life that I had to answer to. And once I told her what I was, she wished me well. She,
but this
and
being your mother,
my mother.
yeah.
And there was no problem. But there again, in our 41, 42 years, I never dwelled on, there was too many other things that had to be done. I mean, just in our younger years, just to keep ourselves going, such as paying bills, the same thing that you went through. I didn't have time to be thinking about that kind of thing. We've had close friends in this town.
we still do.
The same friends we had then, we have now. Many of them have passed away, you know, such as your mom, Bob.
Sure.
We rented, Bill and I when we left this house right here, we rented your mom and dad's house, right next door. Bill,
We lived in
and-
the tavern.
yeah, Bill and your mother celebrated the same birthday.
I don't think people in Bayfield, I think they're pretty progressive thinking people.
Well,
yeah.
And they, you know, there were some obviously, I suppose, that were not.
Oh,
My
yeah,
family, my family was different.
his,
My dad and
All except
my
for your
stepmother
mother.
did not say anything. And first weekend I brought him up to the house to eat. I mean, they treated him just like, I mean,
Bill's
nothing.
Bill's
Like,
stepmother
you know,
was the,
Live and let live.
nothing. It was just like family.
Bill's
And
mother.
been like that. He could go to my house anytime he wanted to.
Bill's stepmother, next to my own mother, was a saint. I worked almost in every single restaurant here, even in the tavern years. I worked in different restaurants. There wasn't anybody that we didn't know.
Yeah, right.
There was nobody that we didn't know.
I worked in 3
So
different
you really
restaurants.
felt you were accepted pretty much completely by the community.
I think we were
Yeah.
accepted for what we
Well, if you,
as friends,
Business, yeah,
as friends.
if anybody would have had a hard time over our sexuality, would have been, we had the hardest business in the world.
Yeah.
The bar
I know,
business.
A bar, I know it.
Yeah. They respected us fully because we offered a
service.
good service to them,
Sure.
and they knew it.
Yeah.
They knew it.
Nobody cared about that. I
And they
remember
all
going there.
they protected one another. And like I said before, I never dwelled on that. What I did dwell on is, well, you know, Bill and I were extremely fortunate We ran a bar here for 31 years. We made good money. We traveled. We lived in brand new homes. We drove brand new cars. What else did we want?
Yeah. Right.
What else did we need? He watched out for me. I watched out for him. And together we watched out for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's clear, yeah.
We educated some people.
I suppose we did, in our years, we had
Yeah.
people, people that didn't like us.
Well, sure, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, that, I don't care, we are.
We
That's
are.
the way you go through life, is
So
people don't like
there
me.
weren't any episodes of
No,
Any blatant.
discrimination or harassment or,
no.
no.
Maybe once in a while
somebody is
somebody would slip and say
a
something.
little
Say
dig.
Yeah, would say, you know.
But you ignore
But
them.
watch your-
Name calling.
You know,
Yeah.
watch your tongue here, mister. You're in my house, I'm not in yours. I used to say that. This is my house.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
see that door over there? And,
Yeah,
you know, but
Once
all
in a
in
while it
all,
would slip, but
All in
not
all,
that
it
often.
was-
But was ever meant maliciously or anything like that?
no,
I don't think so.
No.
I,
You know,
I,
it's just one of them things.
just,
Yeah. I mean, because this, when you got together early 70s,
72 maybe, or 3.
or whatever.
In the
mean-
70s.
Oh.
I
Okay.
mean, we've been through the 60s, a lot of changes in the
Yeah.
60s and so on. Perhaps minds were broadened by then, but still, this is
If this had been in
unusual.
the 30s, it would have been
But still,
unforgivable.
That's right.
unusual.
You know,
I want to know, he's still talking
I
about
was
that.
married. I was married.
do you have children or anything, Bill?
Oh yeah, I got a great grandchild.
Well,
Yeah.
do you really?
Oh,
yeah.
And the other one we put
Now,
through
when did,
school.
I forgot now, when did you get married? Did you talk about that?
I was married in the early 60s.
And this is while you were in the service?
While I was in the service,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. But that ain't my daughter.
But you want to know something?
That
So the
Okay.
daughter was already...
already born.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But what we're
Okay.
going to talk about here now, to show you the difference between then and now, you talk about, they refer to gays as coming out of the closet. Well, I never had a closet big enough to hide in, so I never bothered with it. I never knew. My clothes were in the closet. I don't ever remember staying in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to show you from then to now, just this past Christmas, Bill and I hosted a party in the downstairs here for PFLAG. I don't know if you're aware of what that is, but it's an organization that has been developed for gay and lesbian parents.
Oh, okay.
We had about 60 of them downstairs here. They came from Michigan up here.
Oh, wow.
And we
There's
planned.
quite a few of them around
We
this
planned,
area.
we
Believe it
planned,
or
we
not.
had a lot of local people downstairs. Parents, you know, and,
Well, it's the same at the school up there now. You know, the two-parent, you know, how do you call it?
Well,
two mothers
Two
with,
mothers and two fathers type
Two-
of
yeah.
parenting thing. So
Yeah.
the school has become very, very open.
well,
It's
you
no
know
big
what,
deal to anybody
what are you
anymore.
gonna do? What are you gonna do?
well, I can see a lot of conflict, but it shouldn't be.
If you got two adoring parents, doesn't matter what their sexuality is, as long as the
Everybody-
kid comes first.
Yeah, everybody
As long as
deserves
they're
to be
taken
happy.
care of.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, just because you're gay don't mean your kid's gonna be gay.
No.
You know, and in the development of being gay, I'll tell you this. The first time our names appeared, now, and I thought, how is this going to work here? How is this, when Ed died,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Right. What's
In
the
the
obituary?
obituary.
Oh. Oh yeah. How is
And
this
I
gonna
said,
work?
well, when they got to that part, you guys do what you want. But see, he had already written. And both of our names appeared.
So he
and I
was
thought-
accepting of that.
Yeah, and I thought, if he's 91 and the rest of the world should just shut up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a group and period in time, you know, that would really.
What
frown.
really would have, you know, so in his thinking,
Yeah.
he was very progressive.
Yeah.
He was very
Was
progressive.
he
that was-
always progressive like that, or did he have any quibbles about it earlier in life, or?
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, this is exactly the way it used to be. I argued with a man nonstop. I really did.
About the sexuality?
No, about, no.
Anything.
Never about that.
Oh,
But
okay.
just about anything. But
Yeah.
then Bill would go to the mailbox and run into Ed, and they'd talk, and then he'd come back and he'd say, well, I had a nice visit with your dad, you know. But Ed would hardly say anything to me.
Yeah.
You know?
But just like your stepmothers,
Yeah.
I liked them both.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's why Ed liked you.
Shirley and
That's why Ed liked you.
I liked them both.
Yeah. So that
But
was,
then
And I
again,
knew his mother.
he did say one time, or they said, you know, well, then I think what's wrong here, when your dad looks at you, you look so much like him and you're just a younger version of him. I don't know how he acted when he was 28 years old or whatever, but you know.
That's my dad.
Yeah, I know. And take a look here. I can't imagine that he was too left out.
No. Who's that, Ruthie?
I don't know who the gal is, but I certainly know who the guy is.
Yeah.
How old would you say he was there?
I'd say he's
25? Younger?
a little bit younger. I'd say 23.
23.
He looks a little mature.
Yeah.
He lost the baby jaws, you know,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
So,
That's a
you
good
know,
picture.
and like I say, I never had time for, and I honestly don't think that Bill did. I would like to think of anybody, when I sit and think about what we've done in the past, maybe I would have changed a few things, but not many.
Yeah.
Not many things. Maybe I would have liked to have done more than I did. But like I said before, I
Then you'd
always,
almost need two of you.
yeah, I always considered Bill and I very fortunate in life. We knew nothing but the best in people. We held on to friends that we've had for many years. And what else do you want, or what else do you need?
Lenny, as a parting word here, tell us what advice you'd give to young people in the future. When the last people will look at this.
I've got 1 minute left.
Okay, if I was to give any young person,
Advice about how to live.
number one, be honest with yourself. Because if you can't be honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with anything else you do in life. Do it face on.
And you only have one life to live, so
And then-
live it the way you want to live it.
Do it your way. Not my way. Do it your way. We did what we wanted. We did it our way. But my advice would be to any kid that's growing up, do it your way, but be honest about it.